Welcome back to the live show. You know what time it is. I am back. I am back. I am back. Like I never left. Welcome back. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. It is currently 7:24 p.m. Today is Saturday, September 7th, 2024. Good evening one more time. You know what time it is. We are back, back, back like we never left. Okay, today we're going to be talking about a legend made in America. Okay, a legend made in America. So we're going to be talking about today a legend made in America. How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? How is your day going? Are you having a good time? Are you having a wonderful Saturday? Are you getting some rest? Some well deserved rest? Okay. So, we're gonna go in right now. We're gonna go in right now. You know what time it is. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Shout out to everybody subscribing to the channel, smashing the like button. You know, just participating, interacting, supporting the channel. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. Shout out to my guy Nia Book Truck. Yes, y'all. I am back. I am back. I am back. I am back. All right. I am grateful to you guys for tuning in, for coming here, for having this conversation with me, for being a part of the show. Without you guys, there is no live stream. Without you guys, there is no, Genesis Madhouse. There's no show. There's nothing. Okay, so you guys are the best. You guys are the true MVPs. All right, time to do the poll. Let's do the poll. Let's do the poll. Who is the best option for America? God bless you one more time. Smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. And I'm here trying to put the poll up. All right, who's the best option for America? All right. So, are we ready for today? Are we ready for today? The topic for today is a legend made in America. One more time. Today's topic is a legend made in America. And I feel like America has made so many legends. And hopefully, I am going to be one of the legends America is going to make. However, we already have a living legend. We already have a living legend who his name is former President Donald J. Trump. Okay, former President Donald J. Trump. I feel like that is a living legend. And today we're gonna listen to the living legend Donald J. Trump, a former president of the United States. We're gonna listen to him speak in. We are going to listen to the legend Big T, OG Trump talk at a battleground campaign rally in Wisconsin, okay? In Wisconsin. Shout out to Nia Truck. Shout out to Abby Anderson. You know what time it is. And it says, I am a legend from Denmark. You get it. You got it. You got it. Okay, it says, bro, I got up at 4:53 to get a drink and you were streaming. That's dedication. For real, I was. Thank you so much, bro. All right, let's get it.
Thank you very much, everybody. This is an honor. What a crowd this is. Look where that crowd goes. This is a big crowd. A very special hello to Wisconsin. We really appreciate it. We've had great success here. We've had tremendous success, and I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible state with the thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots, which is what you are. And if you can believe it, 59 days from now, we are going to win Wisconsin. We're going to defeat Comrade Kamala Harris. And we are going to win the White House, that gorgeous, beautiful White House. We're going to win it. And we're going to turn this country around, because this country is a failing nation right now. It's a laughingstock all over the world. Over the past 4 years, our country has seen the sickness and corruption of the Washington swamp exposed like never before. You've seen it. You've been watching it. You watch those millions and millions of people pour into our country. We have no idea from where, who they are. We know nothing about them, and I'll tell you, many of them are bad. Many of them are among the worst in the world. Under the Harris-Biden regime, your government imported murderers, child predators, and serial rapists from all over the planet, while weaponizing law enforcement to jail political opponents here at home. They do that, and they think it's wonderful. It's like third world country only. They loot the economy. They give trillions and trillions of dollars to their left-wing cronies, while you pay the cost of rampant inflation, which is what's happened. Rampant inflation, bad energy policy, and just pouring out money like it was water. They run your country for their own power and profit, while erasing your borders, assaulting your freedom, indoctrinating your children, and selling your jobs to China, Mexico, and all of these other foreign lands. But with your vote this election, their lying, cheating, thieving, hoaxing, and plotting will come to an end. It's going to come to an end. We're going to cast out the corrupt political class. We're going to restore our republic, and we are going to drain the swamp, and we're going to do it once and for all. We're going to get it done. Thank you very much. Here are 9 steps I'll take very quickly to break the grip of this rogue regime. This is the worst president and vice president in the history of our country. There's never been anybody that's done the damage of these people. You know, I used to say, and I haven't said it in a while, if you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the country, and let's include vice president because she's worse than he is, because she's actually a believer. He wasn't. But if you took the 10 worst, they haven't done the damage that this one administration has done to our country. First, I will end forever the weaponization of government and the abuse of law enforcement against political opponents. Under Comrade Kamala, Christians and pro-life activists are rotting in prison for the crime of praying in public. How about the people they're arresting because they were praying in public? These people are sick. People like Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro, good people, were locked up for following the advice of their lawyers. And as everyone knows, the Harris-Biden DOJ is trying to throw me in jail. They want me in jail for the crime of exposing their corruption. We expose their corruption. They go after the people that expose, not the people that do the corruption. The big news this week was that the Manhattan DA witch hunt against me has been postponed because everyone realizes that there's no case because I did nothing wrong. Political witch hunt. It's a political attack against me by Comrade Kamala Harris and Sleepy Joe and other radical left opponents for the purpose of election interference. This is all it is. My whole life, I never had anything. Now, all of a sudden, I got so many cases. Who's indicting me today? Does anybody have any? Well, sir, you challenged the election. We think you should be under indictment. We challenged the corrupt election. We were right about that. And it's a case that should never have been brought, and they postponed it. And nothing like this has ever happened in the United States before. It's strictly third world banana republic stuff. That's what it is. But importantly, the public understands this. That's why we have such a crowd today. This is a big crowd, you know. You know, they were trying to say that she gets big crowds. Number one, she doesn't. Number two, she buses the people in. You see the buses. There's nobody busting. I'm sorry to tell you. We bust in nobody. We have some people from North Carolina. I think it's what is it? Those beautiful ladies from North Carolina are here again. Without their husbands, never have their husbands, those poor husbands. This is, what is this, 249 or something, 249. And we love them, and we're doing well in North Carolina. We left yesterday. We just got the endorsement of the biggest police group in the country, and 380,000 police. I said, how many police does our country have? But it's 380,000 endorsed me yesterday in North Carolina, your home state. And I just want to thank them. This is like number 250. And I never see their husbands. They're all happily married, but I never see their husbands. So I don't know what the hell is going on. They're beautiful. And they're always perfectly coiffed. That means they have money. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. It's great. And we always have front row Joes over here. Look at these people. Whoa. It's a lot of front row Joes. They've been here for 4 days. Thank you very much. Thank you. The spirit we have is greater than ever before. You know, we did great in 2016. We did better in 2020. But you're not allowed to say that, because if you say that, they go after you. We did better by millions and millions of votes. But neither one of them compared to what's happening now. We've never seen the enthusiasm and the love that we have now. This has really been incredible. And if I didn't think we did well last time, I wouldn't have done this, because, you know, it's a little tough life. It's not the easiest. You get shot at, other things happen, other routine events happen. But we're going to do it for one reason. I wouldn't have changed. They asked me just a little while ago, a reporter said, "Sir, if you had to do it again, would you do it again?" I said, absolutely, because we're going to make America great again. And that's better than my life. Right? These guys know. He knows. They know. Thank you. Thank you very much. What an incredible crowd. What an incredible... Nobody's ever had crowds like this. Nobody, ever. And the fake news knows it. That's a lot of fake news back there. That's a lot of fake news. The public understands this, and so does every legal scholar, expert, luminary, including people like Andy McCarthy, Jonathan Turley, Alan Dershowitz, Mark Levin, Stephen Calabrese, David Rifkin, Greg Jarrett, Katie and Andrew Cherkowski, Eli Honig of CNN even knows it. They really, they've said very powerfully that this is a case that should have never been brought. It's an embarrassment. Every legal scholar of note has said this stuff shouldn't be happening. It's a weaponization of government. I greatly appreciate the words, "if necessary." They also said the decision will be postponed if necessary. First of all, there is no if necessary. We did nothing wrong. We're never going to let them do this. Somebody else wouldn't have taken it. I was thinking, how many people, I was with some people on the plane, and I said, how many people would have taken this? Most of them would have left. They would have said, I'm getting out of this business. But not me. I don't know. Not me. We're up against very bad, evil people. It's an evil force. You know, we have people on the outside, and we have people on the inside. You have people, countries, China, Russia, Kim Jong-un. We have lots of people. They're tough and they're smart. And by the way, a lot smarter than what we have now. We have a bunch of dumb people. We have the dumbest leaders in the history of our country and the history of the world. But you know what? They look at us and they say, what the hell is going on? Did you see? 3 days ago, it started again. The Justice Department said, Russia may be involved in our elections again. You see that, Mr. Congressman? Great congressman from Texas. You see that? Russia. It's Russia. And the whole world laughed at him this time. 2.5 years. Not a phone call made to Russia, not anything to do with Russia, except stopping their pipeline and lots of other things that these people approved. And they said just the other day, the Attorney General, we are looking at Russia. And I said, oh, no, it's Russia, Russia, Russia all over again. But they don't look at China and they don't look at Iran. They look at Russia. I don't know what it is with poor Russia. This but you know what? Russia would have never happened if I were president. Attacking Ukraine would have never happened. I knew Putin. I knew him well. And, you know, he endorsed, I don't know if you saw the other day, he endorsed Kamala. He endorsed Kamala. I was very offended by that. I wonder why he endorsed Kamala. No, he's a chess player. I endorsed Kamala. Should I be, Congressman, should I be upset about that? No? Huh? Was it done with a smile, Ron? Was it done with a smile? I think it was done maybe with a smile. I don't know. Who the hell knows? Nobody's going to figure it out. They're about 19 steps ahead of us. But this whole Russia thing, nobody was tougher on Russia in history than Trump. And the person that knows that better than anyone is President Vladimir Putin. He knows it better than anyone. And I'll tell you what, I will have that war finished and done and settled before I get to the White House. As president-elect, I will get that done. We'll get it done. It's a horrible, horrible war. And the deaths are far greater than you hear. You don't hear what's happening over there. They're being decimated. You don't hear what's really happening over there. We're going to get it done very quickly. I know both of them. I know Zelensky and I know Putin. I'm going to get it done very quickly. Do you ever notice? I don't even think we try. We just give billions and billions of dollars. Does anyone ever, talk to Russia about, get this thing finished? Nobody talks. We don't have any communication, nothing. We're run by stupid people. Stupid, stupid people. And we found that out at the debate with Joe. How did that work out? And we're going to find it out again on Tuesday night. Is anybody going to be watching? You know, she's a threat to democracy. They always say, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. I'm not a threat. I'm the opposite. I'm keeping democracy. What they are, she's a defunder of police. You know, when somebody on the far left is in charge of defund the police for 12 years, and then they switched, 3 weeks ago or something, oh, we love our police. They don't love the police. They're radical left Marxists, and that's what she is. And she's got to be, it's not even believable. The whole thing it's not believable. Defund the police, no fracking, no, we're not going to frack. You go back a couple of years, we will never frack. There will be no fracking in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania will never frack. And now you say, oh, yes, we will frack. The whole thing is a con job. She got in, she was last. They had 22 people or something running. How Biden won, I will never know. To me, it's one of the greatest miracles. To me, it's a great miracle. But how the hell that guy won? But he won. And he got, in this one, he got 14 million votes. She got no votes. And then they put her in anyway. The bosses put her in because she's controlled by them. But she will be the worst president. He is the worst president in history. She will be worse than him. She will be worse than him. And Trump is never wrong. I am never, ever wrong. But just to finish off on the weaponization, probably most of the people have heard. Just yesterday, the top spokesman, one of the top people in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan, that's a very respected Southern District, very, very highly respected, was heard saying, and was quoted exactly, quote, honestly, I think this case is nonsense. Now, this is the boss of the whole thing. Every real estate person in New York does what Trump did. Nobody's ever been charged with this before. It's a perversion of justice. He said that the DA's office was, quote, stacking charges against Trump and rearranging things just to make them fit the case. I think it is. This is the boss. I don't know why they don't do something. They ought to drop it. They shouldn't delay it. They should drop it. Drop all of it. Drop all of it. I've been indicted more than Alphonse Capone. I say it all the time. He's sort of the ultimate, he's the ultimate criminal. I got indicted more than him. My parents are up there. They're great people. They're looking down on me right now. I can't believe this has happened to my son. He's been indicted more than Al Capone. He would take that tough man sitting right in the front row, stand up. Look at him. He's tough as hell. He would take him out to dinner. If he didn't like him, you were gone. You would never be found again. You'd be in the foundation of a building. You would form the foundation of a building someplace in Wisconsin. Now, Alphonse Capone led a very vicious, violent life, but according to the statistics, I am a much worse person than Alphonse Capone. I don't think so. But he also said, this gentleman said, in New York justice system is, quote, like the Wild West. They're like idiots. They don't care. They're all political. And he said that the persecution in Georgia by Fani Willis, you know about Fani Willis, right? Has anybody? Fani. It's pronounced Fani, F-A-N-I, that's Fanny. But she likes it Fani. When she became whatever she became, DA, she became the DA. She said, my name is Fani. Fani Willis and her boyfriend, right? Wade, Loverboy Wade, remember? Remember Loverboy? We hired him, we gave him almost $1 million because of his tremendous talent at this particular section of the law. He never even heard of it. He was never involved in it. She gave him $1 million, and she's got no problem. I don't know, maybe she does have problems, but it's a persecution of very good people. Forget me, I don't care about me. I care about like 20-something people. And she wanted to take down senators because a couple of senators called and said, what the hell is going on over there? What's happening in Georgia? What's going on? They wanted to indict senators to find out what the hell is going on. Great innocent people, great patriots have been indicted by Fani and her boyfriend, and it's a disgrace. You had people that are in their 80s. Would you sign here? Thomas Jefferson did the same kind of things. Alexander Hamilton, lots of people all throughout the ages. Hillary Clinton wouldn't acknowledge the election. All of these senators like Shifty Schiff, can you imagine? Shifty Adam Schiff, all of them, they disputed the 2016 election. It's okay for them to do it, but if we do it, it's a serious, serious crime. These people are sick. We got to get them the hell out of there. We have to win this election. Have to win this election, right? He knows. That guy knows. That guy knows. And he said, just in ending this, that the person, it's just so good I have to say the whole thing because it's so good. I mean, this is one of the top people in justice in the country and the boss. And he said the persecution in Georgia by Fani Willis is a mockery of justice. It's a joke. The whole thing is disgusting. They're just out to get him, meaning Trump. They're just out to get me. I think that's true. I don't think that's true. I know that's true. But they couldn't have picked a worse target because it's made me more popular. Can you believe me? I think I'm the only person in the history of government that got indicted and my poll numbers went up. You know why? Because you know that it's fake. It's corrupt. Just like Russia was corrupt. Just like their job numbers last week were corrupt. Did you see? They added 818,000 fake jobs on to try and make their numbers look better. And they got caught by a whistleblower. Thank you, whistleblower. Thank you very much. That's incredible, right? That's incredible. 818 jobs. And they were going to announce it because, usually you cheat for 5,000, 6,000. They cheat for 5,000, 6,000, I've heard. Never has anybody seen 818,000. And they were going to announce a correction right after the election. But fortunately, a whistleblower came in and leaked it out, and that was a great thing and should be. If that were a Republican instead of a Democrat, they'd be out of office now for what they did. That was a fraud. 818,000 jobs, that's a fraud. If Comrade Kamala Harris gets 4 more years, you will be living a full-blown banana republic ruled by an anarchy and a tyranny. You're going to have something, and it's not her. It's the people that surround her. They're scum. They're scum. And they want to take down our country. They are absolute garbage. They want to hey, how about the J6 committee? So the J6 committee of political thugs and losers gets together and they investigate J6 for years, destroyed the lives of many people. And now it was revealed fairly recently that they destroyed and deleted all documents, all evidence, all proof. They don't have anything. You know why? Because a lot of it pointed to Nancy Pelosi. It was her fault because she's supposed to be in charge of security, and she turned down thousands of soldiers or National Guard. She turned them down, and it was so obvious. And all of the stories, many of those stories were fake stories. They were all made up. And we caught them because the Secret Service, frankly, said that stuff wasn't true. They deleted and destroyed documents. Now, I think that's a criminal act. Isn't it a criminal act? What the hell happened? When is something going to happen? How come it always happens to a Republican, but doesn't happen to them? They deleted and destroyed every ounce of documents and evidence that they did over a year and a half because it came out badly for them. And they should pay a big price for that. They should pay a big price. The moment we win, we will rapidly review the cases of every political prisoner unjustly victimized by the Harris regime, and I will sign their pardons on day one. I will sign it on day one. Right? Day one. We will completely overhaul Kamala's corrupt Department of Injustice and turn the Injustice Department back into the best law enforcement agency on the planet. Instead of persecuting Republicans, they will focus on taking down bloodthirsty cartels, transnational gangs, and radical Islamic terrorists, which words they won't even say. They won't even say any of those words. Second, I will bring back free speech in America because it's been taken away. They've taken away your free speech, and the fake news is a threat to this country. They are just horrible. These are horrible people. Not everyone. I mean, I know most of them up there. Some are good. Hello, Brian. No, some are good, and most of them are just absolutely terrible human beings. They know what's going on. You know what they'll write today? But look at this crowd. It goes from corner to corner. It's a mess. I flew over and I said, that's a lot of people down there. And you know what they'll say today or tomorrow when they write? Donald Trump spoke today in Wisconsin before a small crowd of people, a small gathering of people. They are just so bad. I don't know. It's, it's really hard to turn it back around unless they used to be like the police force. They'd write the truth, but they're no longer the police force. They're the police force for opposite. They're a police force for bad. They're bad people, and they're very dishonest. And a lot of people don't understand. When you're a politician like these people, like me, like others, and you happen to be a Republican or somewhat conservative, they write just the opposite of what the facts are. And if you're driving a cab, if you're an accountant, if you're a lawyer, if you're something, other than that, you don't know the details. When we know the facts and then the story gets written the exact opposite of what it is, you start to lose faith in the press, I will tell you. But I will sign an executive order banning any federal employee from colluding to limit speech, and we will fire every federal bureaucrat who is engaged in domestic censorship under the Harris regime. We will do that. And third is I will expel warmongers. We have these people, they want to go to war all the time. You know why? Missiles are $2 million apiece, that's why. They love to drop missiles all over the place. I had no wars. Remember Crooked Hillary used to say, look at him, he's going to cause wars. No. My personality stopped wars. She said, look at his personality, he's going to cause wars. My personality stopped wars. We had no wars other than I finished wars that they couldn't finish. I defeated 100% of the ISIS caliphate, etc. And did it quickly. We did it in 4 weeks. It took them... They said it was going to take 5 years. We did it in 4 weeks. We have the greatest military. I got to tell you, they're not woke. Don't worry about it. When you hear they're woke. Guys like Milley and some of these guys that were on the top, he's gone now, which is a great thing. He's the one that said, leave all the equipment in Afghanistan. It's cheaper. He told me that, too. That's when I didn't listen to him anymore. He said it's cheaper to leave an airplane that costs $150 million brand new than it is to fly it out with a tank of fuel, jet fuel. It's cheaper to leave it behind. I said, this guy is really bad. He's really bad. You know, it's amazing, though, not one person from that horrible tragedy of Afghanistan, not one general, not one leader in any way got fired, not one person. Biden never fired anybody because they have the goods on them. So I fired people like crazy. I love to fire people. I love to fire people that didn't do their job. I fired a lot of people that didn't do their I fire them. You didn't do your job. I'm sorry. Say hello to your family. You're fired. Get out. We got to get some. I will expel the warmongers from our national security state and carry out a much-needed cleanup of the military-industrial complex to stop the war profiteering and to put always America first. We put America first. And we're going to end these endless wars. They never stop. You ever see these wars? They go on for 14 years, 20 years. They're fighting ISIS for 21 years. These people are something. We knocked them out in 2 months, 1 month, actually. We had a good general there. General Raisin Cane. We have great generals. We have great leaders. We have great military, and they're not going woke. You could put them in a room for 2 years and scream woke crap to them, and they'd walk out, and they wouldn't be changed. They're not going woke. Don't worry about our military. Fourth, to curtail the power of federal bureaucrats and save your thousands of dollars, we will cut 10 old regulations for every 1 new regulation. And at the suggestion of a great guy, Elon Musk. Has anyone ever heard of him? Huh? No? Elon. Oh, there's a rocket. Look, a rocket's flying. It's Elon. Now, he's very good at what he does. He's going to have to save them. They have 2 people up there. Boeing had a little, I shouldn't say there's a beautiful Boeing plane there, but Boeing had a little hard time, as you heard. So they're going to save, Leon's going to send up a rocket. He looks forward to it. That's all he thinks about is things like that. I said, Elon, what's taking so long? Let's get going. But you watch, he'll get that problem solved. What a terrible problem. It's embarrassing. That's what's happening with our country. Everything's embarrassing. You know, we don't win anymore. We used to win all the time. We won with me. We won everything with me. We won everything. Remember, I came to office and they greeted me with the following statement: sir, we have no ammunition. I said, wait a minute. We have no ammunition? No, sir. We've given it all away to our allies. Allies, by the way, they're allies, but not when we need them. They're only allies when they need something. If we were ever attacked, none of these countries, or very few of them, that we talk about all the time, none of them would come. We were just attacked by such and such a country. Listen, we need your help. They wouldn't take your phone call. But we give away billions and billions of dollars. No, I was greeted with a statement that, sir, we have no ammunition. And I built and rebuilt the greatest military in the world. And the first thing I did was ammunition. I got ammunition from everywhere as fast as you could. And I said to him, Mr. Congressman, what the hell are you saying we have no ammunition, even if it's true? You don't talk about it. Can you imagine? President Xi, thank goodness he was in a good mood. He's listening that we have no ammunition. Do you think he likes that sound? That's a beautiful sound to him. I said, why would you say it? Okay, medic, please. Doctor, thank you. Thank you very much. Take your time. Thank you, doctor. We get the greatest service here. It's amazing the way they just are right on it. Amazing. And some people are out here for 3 days. 3 days. So it's really incredible that things like this don't happen more often, actually. But they always turn out to be good. They're excited. They're excited by what we're doing because we're taking our country back from these lunatics. Take your time, doctor.
We love you, Donna.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. Thank you. I don't want to say too many thank yous because you saw Kamala at the convention when she got up. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. I said, what's wrong with her? What the? So I don't want to say too much. Is that right, fellas? I got just every once in a while I'll say thank you, and I mean it, thank you. But my thank you is meaningful, I will tell you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Everything good? Everything good? Everybody happy? We have a good, strong person back there is getting up, yes? Okay, you tell me when. You tell me when you in the red shirt with those big muscles in your arms, this big, beautiful, beautiful person. Let me go. Should we go? You tell me when. Gets far back. These are the greatest people that will do this because they love the country. Is that okay? Is that what the okay sign is? She's okay? Say a prayer. Yeah, say a prayer. We need more prayers in this nation, I can tell you right now. That's the other thing. They want to shut down your religion. And they've done a pretty good job of it, to be honest with you. Thank you, doctor. Good doctors in these crowds. We have a lot of doctors in these crowds. There's always plenty of doctors. They're good ones, too. You know, in Butler, two of the doctors, they saved two people's lives that they thought were gone. We had Corey, the great firefighter, Corey, and he was gone, but the doctors saved the other two, and they thought they were gone. They were amazing, amazing doctors. Take your time, doctor. We have time, right? Right? We have time. That's right. We're getting a good sign, I think. Is that a good sign? We're getting a lot of good signs. That's great. Good. Got some good news back there, Ron, huh? Good job. I watched your speech today. Beautiful. Thank you. Yes? Good. Thank you very much. Thank you. And just make some room for them so they can get out and hopefully come back before we're finished, because we can stay here all day as far as I'm concerned. We'll stay here all day. Thank you very much. Doctors, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Anything happens, let us know. But at the suggestion of Elon Musk, I will create a government efficiency commission to conduct a complete financial and performance audit for the entire federal government. And we will cut the fat out of our government for the first time meaningfully in 60 years. We're going to cut the fat. There is so much fat, you won't even know it's gone. Fifth, we will drain the government education swamp and stop the abuse of your taxpayer dollars to indoctrinate America's youth with all sorts of things that you don't want to have our youth hearing. Ultimately, we'll live, and you know what we're doing here. I say it all the time. I'm dying to get back to do this. We will ultimately eliminate the Federal Department of Education and send education back to Wisconsin and back to the states. We'll send it back to the states so that Ron Johnson can run it, okay? We'll send it back here. Mr. Tiffany, we'll get our Congressman Tiffany involved. He made a good speech, too. We're at the bottom of every single list in education. You know that. We're at the bottom of every single list, and yet we're number one in terms of cost per pupil. So, you know the expression I used once, twice, three times before, and it was very effective, actually. What the hell do we have to lose, right? We'll send our education back to the states. And, you know, some states will do a fantastic job. Some won't. And it's the same ones that are laggards right now. I don't want to name them because why would we want to embarrass Gavin Newsom and some of these people? Gavin Newsom, why would we want to embarrass him? But that's, by the way, speaking of California, she destroyed, as you know, Kamala destroyed the greatest city in America, San Francisco. She destroyed it, totally destroyed it. Then she became Attorney General of the state. She destroyed the state of California. Now she's running for president. We're not going to let that happen. Sixth, we will not tolerate so-called equity policies that punish Americans based on race or gender. America will return to the merit principle, which has just been approved by the Supreme Court of the United States. You work hard and you will be very successful. We're back to the merit system. Nobody thought that was ever even possible. We need merit. There's so many people that are left out in the cold, and that's not going to happen anymore. You work hard, you work diligently, you go to school, you do what you have to do, but it's based on merit. Again, you haven't heard that in many, many years. And seventh, working with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., you know Bobby, RFK Jr., that was a meaningful endorsement. That was a great endorsement. We'll take on the corruption at the FDA, the CDC, World Health Organization, and other institutions of public health that have dominated and really are dominated by corporate power and dominated really by China. You know, the World Health Organization, they called COVID totally wrong. And I looked into it. We were paying them $500 million a year. China was paying them for $1.4 billion. We don't really know what we have because so many people have come into our country. We have no idea what we have. But let's assume we have 350 million, including 20 or 25 million criminal migrants, in many cases criminals. We have some of the worst people in the world coming into our country. Some of the worst criminals in the world are coming into our country. But we have 350 million people, let's say. They have 1.4 billion. They pay 39 million. We pay 500 million. Do you think that's a good deal? So I pulled out of it, and they came to me, and they wanted me to go back in. They wanted us to go back in, and I kept saying, no, I don't want to do it. And it became actually a very popular thing. I hate to say this, but politically, like people really liked it because they knew how we were abused by them. It's run by China. It's not run by us. We pay 500, and it's run by China, who pays 39 million. So they wanted to come back, and I said, well, how come China's paying 39 million? They have 1.4 billion people, and we're paying for a much smaller number of people. We're paying 500. We will make the same deal as we made with China. Well, I said, that would mean we'd be paying about 8 million, right? They said, no, we will make the same. We'll let you come in for 39 million. And you know what? I turned them down. Not for that. I turned them down for other reasons, and because they weren't good, and they were dominated by China. But Biden came in, this stupid person came in, and he approved $590 million. Now, he knew what was going on. He knew that, well, he probably didn't. He's really, do you think he knew? I don't think he knew. Do you think somebody said, sir, we can do it for 39? You know, it's not the biggest number when you're talking trillions all the time, but it's indicative of stupidity. And she's worse than him. He is a smarter person than she is. Oh, they're waiting for the debate. You know, if I destroy her in the debate, they'll say, Trump suffered a humiliating defeat tonight. No matter what. Although they did, you know, with Biden, one of the CNN people said that about my part, they said, the Donald Trump performance tonight was the single greatest debate performance I've ever seen. 2 days later, all they did is talk about how bad he was. They didn't talk about me anymore. But no, it's a crooked system, but we're going to make it a very legitimate system again. We can do that, and I think we can do it pretty easily with people like you have over here. I think we can actually do it pretty easily. We will establish a panel of top experts to investigate what is causing the decades-long increase in chronic health problems and childhood diseases, including the autoimmune disorders, autism, obesity, infertility, and much more. And Bobby's going to be very much involved in that. We're going to get him involved because that's what he likes. That's what he's great at. Isn't it great to have a Kennedy with us? Isn't that nice? And this is really, I mean, I don't want to disrespect the rest of the family, but this has been the dominant Kennedy for the last 25 years. You know, he's a great guy. I've known him a long time. He's a great guy, and he really wants what's good for the country, and to have his endorsement is a very important thing. And Tulsi endorsed us, too, almost simultaneously. And we love Tulsi. She's been fantastic. She's a woman of great common sense, actually. I've watched her for a long time. She has great common sense. I will ask Congress to pass sweeping reforms to prevent foreign influence peddling, bribery, and corruption like we have seen with a certain family in the United States. The Biden crime family, that's the family. What the hell is happening with that family, Ron? What's going on with that family? You know, the night he spoke at the convention, Congress found out that he stole $27 million. Nothing happened. Nothing happens with these people. He stole $27 million, and he was speaking at the convention. They were saying what a wonderful president he was. The worst ever in history. You know, he made a State of the Union speech, the last one. It was so bad. And I turned to CNN and MSDNC. I wanted to see how bad they'd report on it because, you know, it had to be bad. And I turned, and one of them said, not since Franklin Delano Roosevelt has a speech been made so brilliantly or delivered so well. He was coughing in his hand all the time. He's coughing. Then he walks out and shakes everybody's hand. Some people actually didn't want, they went, hello, sir. Hello, sir. It's wonderful to have you up there, sir. So can you imagine, you know, Franklin Roosevelt was a great speaker in a certain way. Very elegant person, came from a very elegant neighborhood, so to speak. Very, very rich and entitled, but different from these people you have today. But very beautiful speaker, and they compared him to Franklin. Not since Franklin Delano Roosevelt, has anybody made a State of the Union like that. And I said, this is really terrible. This is really terrible. And finally, I will support modifying the 25th Amendment to make clear that if a vice president lies or engages in a conspiracy to cover up the incapacity of the president of the United States, if you do that with a cover-up of the President of the United States, it's grounds for impeachment immediately and removal from office, because that's what they did. That's what they did. You know, think of it. If he didn't go to that debate, he'd still be running. He'd still be running. To every citizen who's sick and tired of the parasitic political class in Washington that sucks our country of its blood and treasure, November 5th will be your Liberation Day. November 5th this year will be the most important day in the history of our country, because we're not going to have a country anymore if we don't win. It will be the most important day in the history of our country. You know, I used to say that about 2016 because the border was bad, but the border was bad. It was like 5% of what's going on now. It was fine. And I fixed it very quickly and beautifully. And then I couldn't talk about it. I kept saying, I want to talk for the next election. Well, we got millions more votes. I couldn't talk about it. They said, sir, people don't want to hear about the border. It's in great shape. You fixed it. I said, I want to talk about the border. They said, sir, I'm telling you, nobody cares. And it's true. I used to talk about the border. They didn't care because I fixed it. But this border is so much worse. This border is at a level that there's never been a border in the history of the world that's been where 20 or 25 million people have poured in and nobody has any idea where they're coming from. Here in Wisconsin, you also need to defeat a radical left senator named Tammy Baldwin, who's bad news. Baldwin voted with Biden almost 100% of the time, giving you open borders, horrific inflation, the Afghanistan disaster. That's the most embarrassing day, I think, in the history of our country, right? He's nodding. I agree. And everything else, all of these problems that we have, all of that, the open borders and the people pouring in, you know, all of it, like the energy we can solve quickly, everything we can solve. But we have to do something. We have millions of people coming. I mean, they've poured in. They're here. They're here. You know, the border's been a little bit tougher lately because there's an election. That's the only reason. So the numbers are a little bit better than they were 3 months ago. But that's only for purposes of... The fact is, these people, these 20, 25 million people are already in our country. What they've done to us, it's suicidal. It is suicidal. What they've done to this country, nothing like that has ever... It's an invasion of our country. But running against Tammy Baldwin is a true American patriot. He really is. He's an incredible guy. I don't know. Nothing is easy. You know, you beat these people that are in Washington for so long, and many of them are no good, but they are hard to beat. They're hard to beat. She's no good. I mean, I was president for 4 years. I don't know. I'm not even sure if I ever met her. She doesn't do anything. She just votes the party line, and then she gets the party support. She doesn't do anything for Wisconsin. When I gave you the big boat contract, I gave you the biggest boat contract in years, and a lot of people didn't want it to go here. Everybody wanted it. I gave it. She never called me. She was the one person that should have been calling me. She never called me. I gave it to you for other reasons. But we have somebody that's running. Number one, he's central casting, you have to say. This guy is central casting. And he's smart, and he's tough, and he's a hero, and he's a success. And he'll make an incredible senator for you and your wonderful people who I know so well in Wisconsin. Eric Hovde is great. Come on up, Eric. Come on up.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let's give President Trump a big Wisconsin hello. You know, all of us are here for one reason. And it's the reason why this man is going through all that he's gone through. He's been put through hell, attack after attack. Why I'm going through this, why you're showing up here. We love our country. We love America. And what the Democratic Party has become today are a bunch of progressive socialists that are destroying our wonderful country. They have turned our country upside down. What was right has become wrong, and what was wrong has become right. They're damaging our country economically. Under President Trump, your wages increased 7.7%, one of the highest growth rates ever. Under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they've declined by 2.2% because of all their inflation and reckless spending. Under President Trump, the border was almost closed, and he would have gotten the job done. Under them, who knows how many people flooding our country with criminal elements and fentanyl killing our young people. And then they push these crazy ideas like boys playing in girls' sports, men going into women's bathrooms, or transgendering our kids. That's right. Now, what they are experts at is lying. Kamala Harris and Tammy Baldwin are expert liars. You know, President Trump, Tammy Baldwin runs ads acting like she worked with you and getting things done in this state. I mean, it's priceless. Kamala Harris is now trying to steal your ideas. No tax on tips. They're trying to act like they are pushing it back against the invasion of our southern border. We're going to be tough on the border. Right. Where have you been? They've pushed to defund the police. They never stood with the police. Now they're trying to act like they're tough on law enforcement. Everything they've said has been a lie. And on top of it, they're corrupt. They are corrupt. Tammy Baldwin rails against Wall Street, and yet she lives on Wall Street with her Wall Street executive partner and taking money hand over fist. So that's what we're up against. Now, folks, as President Trump said, we have 59 days. This is the time. We can't go another 4 years what they're going to put us through. I'm going to tell every one of you, you have to walk away from here today. You have to grab every neighbor you know who's in the middle, every family member that you know that's in the middle, every friend. You got to sit down, you got to talk to them, and you got to get them to come over to our side for President Trump and me to bring this country back. So, are you ready? Are you ready to fight for your country? Are you ready to save the American dream? Let's go get them. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Eric. Great speech. Eric, thank you very much. That was great. He'd be a great senator. He'll be with another great senator, a friend of mine for a long time, Ron Johnson, who's here and made a wonderful speech. Thank you, Ron. Ron made a wonderful, wonderful speech. And you have a congressman from Texas that's here. He's very special. He's been with me from day one. He would be with me even if I did a lousy job, perhaps. But he likes the job I've done. He literally is camped out in Wisconsin. His name is Troy Nels, and he brought his brother. I believe they're twins. You certainly look like twins. He's better looking than you, actually. But Troy is amazing. His brother's Trevor. And what Troy has done is incredible. He's literally very popular in Texas. He's a very powerful, wonderful congressman in Texas. And he's come here, and he's staying here, and he's working so hard. And I said, what are you doing? He says, we got to get you elected. If you win Wisconsin, you're going to win the whole thing. This is a big deal. Wisconsin's a big deal. So I remember that, Troy. I know it. I've been hearing all about Troy. He's doing meetings and speeches and everything. And you know, it's amazing. He's back in Texas. They love him even more for what you're doing because they know exactly. We're doing very nicely in Texas, to put it mildly. We're winning by about 16 points or something. But this is a big one, so thank you very much. I appreciate you both very much. Thank you. And a man who I watched his speech, he did a very, very good job, Tom Tiffany. Where's Tom? Tom, great job. Great speech. Thank you. I watched it from the plane, Tom. Great. Thank you. Very popular guy, very good guy, very great congressman. Wisconsin GOP Chairman Breyer. Where is Brian? Brian Schimming. Brian, thank you very much. He's doing it. Are we winning, Brian? I think so, right? You've been fantastic. Thank you, Brian. Right from day one. Door County GOP Chair Stephanie Susek. Stephanie? Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. Great job. Pierce County GOP Chair Stephanie Poton. Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. To Stephanie. And Marathon County GOP Chair, where are you? Kevin, where are you? Kevin, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kevin. Also with us is famed country singer, and she wrote some songs that have been top of the line and a winner of awards all over the place. Gretchen Wilson. Where's Gretchen? Gretchen, thank you very much. Great job. Great job. Do you want to come up, Gretchen? Okay, come up. Come up. Come on. What the hell? It's a Saturday. We have all day, right? Come on. Thank you. Thank you. It's a great honor. Thank you, Gretchen. Very nice.
I have notes. Is that okay?
Yes, sure.
Hello again, Wisconsin. My name again is Gretchen Wilson. I'm a Midwesterner. I come from a very small town in southern Illinois. I grew up very much like Senator J.D. Vance. I had to work hard and fight my way out of poverty just like many other Americans have done. But this is what I was taught to do, to earn my way. Since then, I've done the impossible. I am now a Grammy award-winning country music artist, a producer, a songwriter, and most importantly, a mom. Now, back in the day, my family were all Kennedy Democrats, but that's when the Democrats were on the side of the people. Once I started paying attention to what was really going on, I realized the Democratic Party left us. As a songwriter, I pay close attention to words. The words that are being used and the words that are not being used. I urge all Americans to pay close attention to what you are hearing and not hearing from the media. Because the issues that are most important for our survival are what we're voting on. I'm here today to entertain you, but I'm also here today to show my support for the only team in this race that is telling you the truth. My story isn't really that rare, but the American dream that I have been fortunate enough to find will most certainly be lost forever if we do not show up and vote for freedom in November. It is on us. Let's make sure we, the people, do all we can to save our country by voting for President Trump and J.D. Vance. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Gretchen. Thank you, Gretchen. Great. That's great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Gretchen. As borders are, Kamala Harris let in over 20 million. They're now saying the number could be 25 million illegal aliens from 168 different countries. Most people don't even know that you have that many countries. Coming from prisons and jails, insane asylums and mental institutions, and terrorists at a level that we've never seen before. You know, I told this a few times. We were, during the Border Patrol is fantastic, and ICE, and our whole thing with the police officers, these are people that are brave and great, and they really want to do their job. But they came out with the Border Patrol a study on terrorism, and they said in 2019, my year, they said not one terrorist came into the country. Now, I don't really believe that. It can't be that good. It can't be, because now we have thousands coming in. But the fact that they'd even say that, and they didn't do it for me, they just did a report. They said not one terrorist, 2019, check it out. They said not one terrorist came into the country. Now we have thousands and thousands and thousands of terrorists pouring into our country at record levels. And it's going to end very badly. It's going to end very badly. We got to get them the hell out of here. We got to get them out of here fast. What they've done in allowing maybe 25 million people into our country, it should be illegal. They're destroying, it should be illegal. Maybe it is illegal. They're destroying our country. They're ruining our country. In Aurora, Colorado, entire apartment complexes are being taken over by armed Venezuela gangs with weapons, the likes of which even the military doesn't see. They're terrorizing residents and they're just menacing the whole state. But they are menacing that community, and the people are petrified. Even the sheriff, he's trying his best, but he's got a small force by comparison. This is like a military force, and they're vicious, violent people. By the way, Venezuela crime is down 72%. Crime is down all over the world because they're sending their criminals, not just South America, from all over the world. They're sending their criminals. They're sending people in jail for murder and drugs and everything else. They're sending them into our country. They're getting rid of them. Crime's down all over the world. Our crime is through the roof. And you haven't seen the migrant crime yet. It started and it's vicious, but you haven't seen the extent of it yet. They're just getting settled in. Colorado is a total mess with a governor that has no idea what to do. He has no idea. He's confused. He's afraid of the migrants, but he doesn't want to say it because that's a bad thing to say if you're a Democrat. You know, they put you right out of business. He fears the policies of Kamala, but doesn't want to lose his base or his job. He's afraid to say anything about it. Colorado began the threat to democracy against me, where they tried to unconstitutionally remove me from the ballot. I was the leading person in the whole country, leading everybody by a lot. And they said, let's remove him from the ballot. And then they say, I'm a threat to democracy. Think about that. But Colorado was the one that did it at the behest of the governor, probably. Many people in Colorado were absolutely angry at it. They didn't like it. Even Democrats and liberals, they said, that's terrible. You can't do that. Democrats did it. The concept of taking the number one person in the Republican Party by far and taking him off the ballot so that the Republicans don't even have a nominee, because this was very far down the line. The case for me was won at the United States Supreme Court quickly and unanimously, and the governor, Jared Polis, had no idea what to do or say, never apologized, never did anything. They are radicals headed up by a radical governor in Colorado that has no clue how to solve this influx of crime into his state. And by the way, Colorado's one state. It's much worse in other states. But in Colorado, they've taken over. I mean, in Colorado, they're so brazen, they're taking over sections of the state. And, you know, getting them out will be a bloody story. Should have never been allowed to come into our country. Nobody checked them. Nobody checked, were they criminals? Were they from jails? We have them pouring out from jails. We have the worst criminals in all of these countries. 168 so far are registered, 168 countries. They're in our country, and they said, if you come back, you will be executed, you will be killed immediately. Not going to be easy, but we'll do it. But they have no clue how to solve their influx of crime in Colorado or anywhere else. But far more importantly, heading this governor's way are numbers of bad people that nobody will ever believe. That's just a little small group of people that are taking over. These people are tough. I always say they make our criminals look like nice people. At the time it happened, people said I would win Colorado. Colorado's traditionally not a Republican state. But I was actually tied and leading in polls in Colorado because people were so incensed at what this governor and his cronies had done by trying to strip the Republican Party of their candidate. So if I don't win Colorado, it will be taken over by migrants and the governor will be sent fleeing, because the people of Colorado should really do something that would be a classic. They should do a major protest vote in favor of Trump to reject the threat to democracy that they caused by an attempt at ballot removal. And Illinois is really the same thing, and Maine, another one. I mean, I don't understand. You know, I did very well in Maine, but they did that. The governors did that. Illinois is one of the worst run states in the country, headed by a governor, J.B. Pritzker, whose family threw him out of the family business, so he became governor instead. And his state is going to hell. It's horrible what's happening. So if you live in Chicago and your state is going to hell, vote for Donald Trump. Just vote. We'll do a good job. We'll clean it up. We'll get rid of that horrible crime. You know, in Labor Day weekend, Chicago had 117 people shot, 17 died. This is worse than Afghanistan. This is worse than any place. It's a war zone. Other states should also vote for Trump in protest because their way of life has been changed in America. Protest it. Go back to the Democrats in 4 years, but you won't, because we'll clean up this mess. And you'll say, we're never voting for a Democrat. We like Trump and his friends. Migrants and crime are here in our country at levels never thought possible before, never even thought possible. You're not safe even sitting here, to be honest with you. I'm the only one that's going to get it done. Everybody's saying that. I'm starting to believe it myself, but they're saying the only one that's going to get it done, and I will tell you, I'm going to get it done. And so go out and do that protest. If you're Maine, if you're in Illinois, if you're in any state, because you're being overrun by criminals. You're being overrun by people. They're not being checked. They're not being vetted. They're taking over our country. They're forming armies in our country. And Aurora is just one example of many locations. Other places are probably even in worse shape. We just haven't heard about them yet. And a lot of governors don't like talking about it. Like this guy Polis, he said, no, don't talk about it. We don't want the world to find out. The world has found out. The world has found out. They have all the pictures. They have all the tape that you want. I've never seen anything like it. They walk in, they throw people out of their apartments. They take over the whole building. Now they take over another building. They're in the real estate business. Isn't that nice? They were in jail 2 months ago. Now they're in the real estate business in Colorado. Just 2 days ago, right here in small town, Wisconsin, what a beautiful place. However, a member of a savage Venezuela gang was arrested for sexually assaulting a woman and attacking viciously a child. He's charged with suffocation, child abuse, sexual assault, and many other things. Bad guy. Shouldn't be in the country. Came out of jail in his country. I will get these monster criminals out of Wisconsin. I will get them out of our country. We're going to get them out fast. We're going to get them out fast. Very fast. They'll soon be back on the streets and jails of Caracas, Venezuela, and other places from where they came. Think of it, though. Venezuela crime is down 72%. People are saying, oh, isn't it wonderful, Venezuela? In fact, if they win, we're never going to lose touch with each other if they win. But we won't come here. It'll be too dangerous. We will have a meeting. We will have a rally in Caracas, Venezuela, because it will be safe by comparison to Wisconsin. Okay? So we'll all hop on a flight. We'll go over to Caracas, Venezuela, or one of hundreds of other countries that are safer than the U.S., because our country is a very unsafe country now. And we're really subject to what these people want to do. And these are violent people. These are people that were criminals at the worst level in their cities all over the world. 22 people out of the Congo in Africa. It's not just South America. People think it's Honduras and Guatemala, El Salvador, Mexico. It's not. It's countries all over the world. They're coming in. 22 people from the Congo in Africa. Where are you from? From the Congo. Oh, that's nice. Where did you live? Jail. Oh, what did you do? It's none of your business. That's what they told the people. It's none of your business. You can imagine what it is. But from Africa, from the Middle East, from Europe, from Asia, they're coming in from everywhere. They're getting rid of their criminals. They're bringing them into the United States of America, our beautiful country, our now failing country. It's a failing country under these lunatics. And they're bringing them in at levels that nobody's ever seen before. Ron Johnson sees it. He sees it all the time, and he gets sick over it. But we're going to do something about it, Ron. We're going to get it done. We have to. We have no choice. It's not like we have a choice. Not like we can say, oh, well, we'll live with it. You can't live with it because you're going to be killed. These are killers. But from all over the world, you take a look at the crime statistics. You take a look at the jail statistics. The jails are being emptied out. The mental institutions are being emptied out, and insane asylums. And then the press, when I say Dr. Hannibal Lecter, the press says, oh, why did he mention that? They're wise guys back there, just wise guys. They say he rambled and started talking about Hannibal Lecter. What does that have to do? That's a representative of people that are coming into our country. Dr. Hannibal Lecter, he will have you for dinner. You know that? He will have you for dinner. No, but this is what's happened. This is what's happening at levels that nobody can even imagine. Millions and millions. J.D. Vance is doing a phenomenal job. Today he said 25 million. He's doing a great job. You know, I picked the best athlete. I had great people, and great people. We have so many wonderful people. Marco was incredible, and Tim Scott was incredible, and you have a governor. in a certain place that has a lot of oil. You know who I'm talking about. Well, how good was he? And you have just great places and great people. And I got to know so many. I picked JD. JD, and I could have picked anyone. They would have been great. But JD had an incredible life. He had a mother who was very addicted to prescription drugs and not a lot of help from the father. And he was a great student, however, very smart. He went to Ohio State, graduated at the top of his class in 2 years. I said, 2 years, that's pretty good. I never heard of that. Then he went into the military. Then he came out, got accepted to Yale Law School, which is very hard to do without a father that has connections. Very hard to do, almost impossible. The reason he was accepted was that he was really smart. He was smart as hell. And then he worked, I guess, essentially on Wall Street or Wall Street alternative or equivalent, and did very well. And then he ran for office. I endorsed him, and he became a senator from the great state of Ohio, and he's doing amazingly well. But he's a brilliant guy, and the press went after him for about the first week, and then they gave up because he has the answers. He's really, he's conservative, but he really is like all of us. We're all sort of conservative, but what we really are is we have common sense, right? We have common sense. Common sense is more important, Ron, than anything else. We need common sense. We'd like to have borders. We don't want crime. We want good schools. We want nice housing. We want low interest rates, you know. We don't want wars. Ideally, we don't want wars. Everyone thought I'd be a warmonger. I was the opposite. But I did scare people away from having wars. And you know what I did? I used tariffs. I heard 2 countries were going to have a war. I called them both. I said, here's the story. You have a war. You're going to have to pay a 200% tariff to do business in the United States. And they'd both say, the leaders would say to me almost simultaneously, we've decided to make peace. I stopped so many wars. They went to Viktor Orban, the fake news. They went to Viktor Orban and they said, why is the world such a mess right now? It's flaming up in the Middle East and Israel and what's happened with Russia, Ukraine. Why is it? They said, you need Trump back in. He said, nobody understood Trump. China was afraid of him. Russia was afraid of him. You know, I stopped the Nord Stream pipeline, Nord Stream 2. And then they say I was very friendly with Russia. I got along good with sort of everybody, but everybody paid up. They had to pay up. We changed so many trade deals that were so bad. USMCA, we made that one. That was a great one from the worst trade deal we ever had. NAFTA, the worst trade deal any country probably has ever had. But we did a really good job. But JD, we're very proud of him. And he made a speech this morning, and I heard it was great. And I think you will agree, Ron, he's doing a fantastic job. As Vice President Harris cast the tie-breaking votes that caused the worst inflation in American history, costing a typical family $28,000. Think of that. Yesterday, it was announced that we lost 438,000 full-time jobs in August. We lost 400, almost 500,000 jobs in August. We lost 24,000 manufacturing jobs, nearly 6,000 auto manufacturing jobs. And if I'm not elected, you will not have an auto industry at all. Volvo today announced they're getting away from the electric. Other companies announced we have paid trillions of dollars in subsidy for making these cars. And the market's not there. It's not there. It's a shame. And I'm a big fan of electric cars. I think it's great, but it's got a market. But I also want gasoline-powered cars, and I want hybrids. I want everything. Hydrogen is maybe coming. We want everything. The real unemployment rate rose to 7.9% in August. Did you know that? 7.9%. Our country's going down. Last month alone, American-born workers lost 1.3 million jobs, and migrants gained 635,000 jobs in a single month. Every job that we've gained has been replaced, not by American citizens, but by illegal migrants. Did you know that? Every job that was created over the last fairly short period of time was taken by illegal migrants. And I will tell you this, the black population and the Hispanic population are being decimated by these people coming in unchecked, unbalanced. They're coming in and they're taking the black population and the Hispanic population jobs. And next is going to be unions. You watch the unions suffer. The auto workers are not going to exist in a year and a half or 2 years because of what that fool did. Who's the head of the auto workers? He's a fool. Since the start of this year, nearly 1 million Americans joined the unemployment rolls. Nobody knows that. And now Kamala is pushing the largest individual small business tax in American history. And she said 70 to 80% tax is probably a good idea, a bold idea that should be discussed. 80%. Good luck with your small business. She and Sleepy Joe Biden waged war on American energy, opened up the Russian pipeline, Nord Stream 2, after I had closed it. It was done. It was closed. As soon as he came in, he approved it. But he shut down the Keystone XL pipeline, Keystone. He shut it down, 48,000 jobs, and it was a very important pipeline, actually, but we'll get it open. But think of it. I shut down the biggest pipeline in the world, the Russian pipeline going to Germany and all over Europe. I shut it down. It was done. He gets in. He approved it. He approved it. But he shuts down the pipeline in this country, the XL pipeline. She re-entered the horribly unfair to the United States Paris Climate Accord. It sounds so nice, the Paris Climate Accord. Such a nice name. Oh, isn't that beautiful? We want the Wisconsin Accord. We want the people of Wisconsin, not the people of Paris. That Paris Accord was going to cost us $1 trillion, and other countries like China, it was considered third world. China, it's a developing nation. They didn't have to pay anything. India didn't have to pay anything. Russia didn't have to pay anything. France didn't have to pay anything. Nobody had to pay, only the stupid United States. We paid $1 trillion. And I closed it down, and as soon as he got back up, he opened it at even worse terms. Kamala Harris and the communist left have unleashed a brutal plague of bloodshed, crime, chaos, misery, and death upon our land. And it's only going to get worse. As Vice President, Harris has presided over a 43% increase in violent crime, including a 58% increase in rape. She supports defund the police, and during the 2020 riots, she encouraged her followers to donate to bail criminals, looters, arsonists, and murderers. She was trying to get the murderers out of jail, right? You're shaking, right? Everybody now knows it. And this is a person that wants to be president of the United States, and she didn't get a vote. As California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as totally nonviolent crimes. Oh, that's nice. Kamala supports states being able to take minor children and perform sex change operation, take them away from their parents, perform sex change operation, and send them back home. Can you imagine you're a parent and your son leaves the house and you say, Jimmy, I love you so much. Go have a good day in school. And your son comes back with a brutal operation. Can you even imagine this? What the hell is wrong with our country? Her running mate, Tampon Tim, did you see he signed a bill where tampons will be in every boy's bathroom? Isn't that nice? And he's a whack job. You know, they have a standard phrase that JD, who's very solid, and I happen to be very solid. I have other problems, perhaps, but I'm a very solid person. But JD's solid, I'm solid. They said this was just a soundbite. They gave it to all the fake news. The fake news, they're weird. No, he's weird. He is really weird. This guy. Can you imagine? I'm weird. It's just, you know, they do sound bites. And they gave one the other day, manufactured. The vote was manufactured. It's not a term that's used politically. Every network headed up something about the vote was manufactured. They follow the lead of these people, but we've got the lead. You know what? We've got the people. We got to stop the cheating. If we stop that cheating, if we don't let them cheat, I don't even have to campaign anymore. We're going to win by so much. In the meantime, too big to rig. Too big to rig. But he even signed, Tampon Tim, even signed a law that allows abortion in the 9th month and babies to be executed after birth. In other words, a baby is born And what do? The mother decides she doesn't want the baby. You execute. That's not an abortion, that's an execution. And nobody wants that. There are 6 radical left states that allow that too, that nobody wants it to happen. Nobody wants to see it happen, where they're allowed to execute the baby after birth, and nobody talks about it. And, we did a great thing when we got Roe v. Wade out of the federal government, got it back to the states, and now the states are all voting. And like Ronald Reagan, I happen to go with the exceptions. I think it's important, but other people, you have to go with your heart. But I'd say most people, 85% Republicans, they go with exceptions for rape, incest, life of the mother. But the 3 exceptions. But nobody wants to happen 8th month, 7th month, 9th month. But after birth, and you have after birth, and more people, more states are even planning on doing that. Nobody wants that. And now what we're doing is, because of what we've done, they wanted, all the great legal scholars wanted it out of the federal government. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it out because it didn't belong there. They wanted it to go back to the states. And now the states are all voting. And frankly, some of those votes are coming out very liberal. If you look at Ohio, if you look at Kansas, if you look at some of the states. But the people are voting, and they're voting. We put it in the hands of the people, and they're voting. And that's the way people have wanted it for many, many years. And I'm just happy that we had Supreme Court justices that had the courage to do that, because that has torn our country apart for 52 years. And now the people are voting. From the moment we take back the White House from Comrade Kamala Harris, I believe we are going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. We're going to turn it around fast. Starting on day 1, I will seal the border and stop the migrant invasion of our country. We will carry out the largest deportation operation of criminals in the history of America. We will defeat inflation, and we will make America affordable again. We will make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. That's called drill, baby, drill, right? Drill, baby, drill. And remember, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country. In 12 months, I will cut your energy costs in half. That means Wisconsin. We will cut it in half. And that includes your heating, air conditioning, electricity, gasoline for the cars. We'll cut it in half. And we'll do it easily. It won't even be, I think we'll do better than that. 12 months. You can hold me to it. Hold me to it. I want you to hold me to it. We're going to cut it in half. I will turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower more than it has ever been. And other countries that make us pay a heavy tax to do business with them will be charged the same tax when they send their product into the United States. And we did it to a pretty strong extent when I was president, and we were going all the way. Then we had to solve the COVID problem. But we will be doing that. It will be called the Reciprocal Trade Act. It's reciprocal. So if China or any other country charges us a 100 or 200% tariff or tax, then we will likewise charge them a 100 or 200% tariff or tax in return. And my message is simple. Make your product here in America and only in America. So we're going to charge tariffs to all these foreign countries that are coming in and ripping us off and taking our jobs and destroying our manufacturing. And it's what they do. We're going to do the same as they do. And, some of these people that are making decisions in Washington, they're very suspect, I can tell you. Not this group. This group, that's why they're here. They hate what they see happening. We're not going to be taken advantage of anymore, just as we made great inroads and progress 4 years ago. Nobody ever made such progress as we had. The greatest 4 years. We rebuilt the military. We had the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cut in history. We had no wars. We didn't get into any wars. Who would think, here I am, we didn't, you know why? Because they were afraid of us and they respected us. They know not to mess with wars. And as I said, and I say it over and over again, Ukraine and Russia would have never happened. Israel would have never been attacked on October 7th. Iran was broke. They were broke. Now, they're after me. So I should say, I love Iran very much. I don't care. I got to do the right thing. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for Hezbollah. They had no money for terror. Any of the many 28 different terror organizations, they had no money. They had no money whatsoever. They wouldn't have ever even thought about doing Israel. All of the things that have happened, and you know what else wouldn't have happened? Inflation. You wouldn't have had any inflation. Inflation was caused by energy going through the roof because these people were so stupid when they took over my energy policies. And energy was going through the roof, and then they went immediately back to my energy policies, Ron. They went immediately back. But what they don't understand is by now, I would have had energy at 4 times the amount that we had 4 years ago. And we were 4 years ago energy independent. Who would believe that? Now we get our energy from Venezuela. Did you see they took his plane the other day? They took Maduro's plane. Maduro's the dictator in charge. They took his plane. I said, oh, that's so serious. Now we can get a nicer plane because we buy our energy. So we give them billions and billions of dollars and they take back his stupid old plane. This is the thinking we have in our country. We shouldn't be buying oil from Venezuela. It's unbelievable. But we're not going to watch our wealth and our jobs get ripped away from us and sent to foreign countries. And Wisconsin will be one of the biggest beneficiaries, just like I gave you the Marinette shipbuilding contract that everybody in the country wanted. Every state wanted it. I'll probably lose a couple of states because I gave it to Wisconsin. I'll probably lose some states because I gave it to Wisconsin. But my plan is that if you open your factory in Wisconsin or Pennsylvania or Michigan or Minnesota or anywhere else in the United States, you don't pay a tariff or a tax. But if you move your production outside of the United States and send it back here, you have to pay a very substantial tariff. We're going to supercharge our country. We will charge other countries when their product is sent into our country. And why shouldn't we? That's exactly what they do. That's what made China strong. When Elon goes and wants to send his cars into China that are made in the U.S., they say, we don't want them. You have to build your factory in China. Then we'll accept you. Well, we're saying to China, you want to build cars? You want to send cars here? You're going to build your factories in the United States. You're not going to send them through. Take our jobs, take everything else. Got to build them in the United States. You can open up a beautiful brand new factory with American labor. The result will be that everybody in the world will want to produce right here in the good old USA. We will be able to build ships again. We will be able to build planes again. We'll be able to build our military again, all from within our country. You know, when we build a plane, the F-35 fighter jet, I bought a lot of them. For countries all over the world, actually, but I bought a lot of them. We have parts made in all different countries, and then they're assembled here. We want to make the parts here. What would happen in case of a war and 2 of those countries were fighting? And we say, by the way, you can't get the wings anymore. The wings are made in Turkey, and other parts are made in other countries. It's so crazy what they've done. And they did that to help out other countries. It's now time for us to help out our country. In the words of a very great but highly underrated president, William McKinley, I am a tariff man standing on a tariff platform. And he said that throwing open our market without protection was, quote, it destroys the dignity and independence of American labor, diminishes its pay and employment, decreases its capacity to buy products of farm and commodities of the merchant. It will bring widespread discontent. It will revolutionize values. It will take away more than half of our earning capacity of brain and brawn. Worse than that, it will take away from the people of this country who work for a living, and a majority of them live by the sweat on their faces. It will take from their heart and from their home, and it'll take from their hope. Their final thing is their hope. It will be total self-destruction. This is the man that wanted tariffs. He wanted tariffs to be taken from foreign countries. And you listen to some of our stupid people and some of the very stupid people in Washington, D.C. We don't want to charge tariffs. It's going to increase inflation. China paid us hundreds of billions of dollars, and we had almost no inflation. This group that came in They had the highest inflation in the history of our country. We took in billions and billions of dollars from foreign countries in the form of tariffs, and I hadn't even gotten started yet. We'll be a rich nation again. We'll be able to do what we want to do. We have to do the tariffs. We have been treated so badly, mostly by allies, if you want to know the truth. Our allies treat us actually worse than our so-called enemies. But we have been treated so badly on trade and other things, on military. We protect them, and then they screw us on trade. We're not going to let it happen anymore. We're going to be a tariff nation. It's not going to be a cost to you. It's going to be a cost to another country. I heard Kamala the other day, Comrade Kamala. She said, oh, if you do that, he's raising your taxes. No, no, no. I'm not raising your taxes. I'm raising China and all of these countries in Asia and all over the world, including the European Union, by the way, which is one of the most egregious. They don't take our cars. They don't take our farm product. And we have a $300 billion trade deficit with them. And they're going to have to pay a price now because we've been supporting them for a long time, and it's no longer sustainable. So I'm a tariff president. I'm not a tax increase president, because we're going to lower your taxes. When I'm back in the White House, we will pass large tax cuts for workers and also no tax on tips. No tax on tips. I will fight for you and fight for the ability. We are going to protect Social Security. We are going to protect Medicare. And we're not going to have any cuts. We're not going to have age increases. She's going to have to, you know, a lot of these migrants that are coming in are going on to Social Security and Medicare. Your programs are going to be destroyed. You're not going to be able to get in your hospitals. You see the lines of people? You can no longer get in your hospitals. You feel sick. You want to go to your hospital. You have hundreds and even thousands of people trying to get into hospitals. They're ruining your life. They're ruining your lifestyle. They're ruining your way of life. I will have no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors because you've destroyed our seniors with your inflation. Inflation has destroyed our seniors and their Social Security. We will terminate the Green New Scam and spend that money on roads, bridges, real infrastructure, and paying down debt, not fake infrastructure that has caused massive inflation and has been of no benefit to our country. And I will settle the war in Ukraine. I will end the chaos in the Middle East. And I will prevent World War III. And I'm the only one that can do it. I will prevent World War III. And if I don't win this election, Israel, with Comrade Kamala Harris at the helm of the United States, is doomed. Israel is doomed. That's a tough statement. Israel will be gone. 1 year, 2 years, Israel will no longer exist. I better win. I better win, or you're going to have problems like we've never had. We may have no country left. It may be our last election. You want to know the truth? People have said that. This may be our last election. You got to get out and vote. This could be our last election. It'll all be over, and you got to remember, I don't want to say this because they say it's braggadocious, but if you look at the record, it's true. Trump is always right. I hate to be right. I hate to be right. I'm always right. I hate to be right. I don't want to be right about the things that I predicted, but I predicted what was going to happen at the border. I predicted all of the inflation. I predicted everything that's happened to our country. I predicted Israel. Putin would have never gone in, but I said if I'm out, he's going to attack Ukraine, but he would never have done it if I were there. We will rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C. Our cities are a mess, and they're very dangerous places. We're going to make them safe, clean, and beautiful again. And we will keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency, and it is currently under major siege. Many countries are leaving the dollar. They're not going to leave the dollar with me. I'll say, you leave the dollar. You're not doing business with the United States because we're going to put 100% tariff on your goods. Sir, we would like very much to get back to the dollar immediately. Thank you very much. It's so easy. I don't know. It's so sad because Biden doesn't know he's alive, and she's worse. This is how we will end the era of inflation, mayhem, and misery under Kamala and Crooked Joe, and unleash safety, prosperity, and peace for Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. Together, we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, and low inflation. so that everyone can afford groceries, a car, and a home. We will stop the invasion, end migrant crime, support our great police, strengthen our wonderful military, build a missile defense shield around our country, keep critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools, and we will keep men out of women's sports. Did you see the Olympics? You had two boxers that transitioned from men to women. I wish them well. They transitioned and they were fighting. It was boxing for the gold medal. And the first match, it was a beautiful young Italian boxer who was very talented, very good, said to be a real threat for the medal. And she met a transitioned person. Boom. He gave her a little jab. Boom. She backed up. Oh, what was that? She said, I've never been hit that hard in my life. A jab is like the light one before you hit the right. Then, boom, another jab. She said, I can't, I give up. Then there was a second boxer, the same thing happened. Congratulations, they both won gold medals. How about that? They both won gold. Congratulations to them. It's so demeaning to women, I don't understand. Who would want men to be able to play? The volleyball player got hit the other day recently with a smash from a transitioned person. She said, I've never seen anything like it. The ball camera, she was knocked unconscious, probably won't play again. The weightlifting records tell, for years they held up, they couldn't, a quarter of an ounce here, a quarter of an ounce there, they couldn't do it. The record is broken by hundreds of pounds. We got to get back to sanity in this country. We have to get back to sanity. We will defend the Second Amendment, restore free speech, and we will secure our elections once and for all. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with joy, opportunity, and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Comrade Kamala Harris, and we're going to stop the country-destroying liberal agenda. Once and for all, we're going to do it. We have to stop it. We're going to save our country. Our country, if it doesn't win this election, I believe is finished. I believe it. We cannot come back much. They will have 100 million of these people in here with another 4 years. 100 million people. If you think you have a nice house, have a migrant enjoy your house, because a migrant will take it over. A migrant will take it over. It will be Venezuela on steroids. So get everyone you know and vote. We want a landslide that's too big to rig. On November 5th, we will save our economy. We will rescue our middle class. We will reclaim our sovereignty and restore our borders. We will put America first, and we will take back our country. Together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Bobby. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America free again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Wisconsin. God bless you. God bless you.
Shout out to everybody watching the live show. I see you, Bubba Moran. Bubba Moran, I see you. Thank you for being here. Jackson Mathis. Shout out to my man, the legend, Nia Book Truck. Shout out to Andrea. Shout out to Saliani. Shout out to Dan Baron. Shout out to David D. Shout out to Shermel, Def3, Squatch TV. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. 1R Web, Ben ML. It's me, Brazit, James Boyer, Alejandro, Dave3, Jay Guash, man, everybody watching Shermel Lee, Who else, man? Everybody watching the live show, thank you so much. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. Okay, so you've heard the rally in Wisconsin. What do you think? Do you think he did what he was supposed to do, which was, talk about the policy? Did he talk about the things you have been waiting for him to talk about? Okay, this is my conclusion with Trump. Okay, I feel like Trump is Trump. He says what he wants to say. Of course, he goes around talking about the things he doesn't like about the administration, which is the Biden Harris administration, and why he should be elected instead of, you know, people say tampon Tim or Comrade Kamala. And I feel like he does a good job with that because you still want humor. You want to have some sort of humor, okay? You don't just want to be serious, talking about your economic policy, talking about your border policy, talking about your international policy and whatever trade and all that stuff. You still want to have some humor to it. And Trump is known to have the rapport, the connection with the audience. This is what he's known for, okay? He's known for having the connection with the audience. He's like the people's champ. Okay, so I feel like he always does what he's supposed to do, which is connect with the audience and get the kind of I guess response from the audience like he deserves. Okay, and I also think he's running based on past performance on like Comrade. I don't think like Comrade is running based on her performance for the past 3.5 years because there's nothing to run on. Okay. And also, just for YouTube purposes, this is for entertainment only. Okay. Because YouTube says my content is harming you guys. So I don't want to be harming you guys. I don't want to create harmful content. This is something that I actually enjoy doing. And I just like to have this kind of conversation because I am truly interested in the politics. You know, I'm interested in getting to see a better inflation rate, better grocery prices, better gas prices, safer border, peace around the world. You know what I mean? Like better mortgage rates, better interest rate. You know what I mean? So this is why I do this. I am not monetized. I don't make money from this channel. Okay, so if you want to support the channel, the Cash App is right there. Thank you so much. You don't have to, but if you want to, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. We are going to throw it back to 2 months ago. The same thing in Wisconsin, Trump in Wisconsin, the same state he's in right now. But we're going to throw it back to 2 months ago where he was in Wisconsin, okay? 2 months ago. It's a different rally, but it's in the same state, okay? Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's listen to the OG, Big T, legendary Donald J. Trump, the former 45th president of the United States, possibly going to be the 47th president of the United States. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's get it.
I was the one that picked it. These lying people that they say, oh, he doesn't like Milwaukee. I love Milwaukee. I said, you got to fix the crime. We all know that. You got to make sure the election's honest. But I'm the one that picked Milwaukee, and the Democrats, or the radical left lunatics, as I call them, what they say is just so terrible. They lie, lie, lie. They have a horrible candidate. They have a candidate that has no clue, doesn't know where he is, and all they can do is lie. I love it. I'm the one that picked Milwaukee officially. So, and you had, and I think you had about 10 congressmen in a meeting that we had recently where I said how much I like Milwaukee. They all came out. They said, that's what he said. We can't help it. And they're truthful people. But I just want to begin by saying, hello, Wisconsin. Hello. Great state. We've had great success here. It's great to be back in this beautiful state with thousands and thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. What a crowd. What a crowd. With your help, 5 months from now, we're going to win Wisconsin. We're going to defeat your radical left Democrat senator, one of the worst in the Senate. Nobody even knows she's a senator. I mean, frankly, she's not doing a good job representing. We have somebody that's going to be great. So, but we're going to defeat your Senator Tammy Baldwin. We're going to elect Eric Hovde of this area, by the way, who's a great gentleman, and spent a lot of time with him. He and his wife are incredible people. He's going to be a great representative. They're going to be great representatives of your state. But we're going to elect him to the U.S. Senate. We're going to evict weak, failed, and incompetent Joe Biden. He's an incompetent person from the White House. And quite simply, we are going to make America great again. Less than 4 years ago, our border was secure, inflation was nowhere to be seen, the world was at peace, and America was strong and respected. We were respected all over the world. None of this stuff would have been happening that's happened now with Russia and Ukraine and the attack on Israel. None of it would have been happening. We would have had and we wouldn't have had a thing called inflation. That would have been nice too. But it was a different place 4 years ago, I think. But now we're going to make it better and bigger and stronger than ever before. But you had a president who put America first. I put America first. They put America last. Under crooked Joe Biden, the world is in flames. Our border is overrun. Inflation is raging. Europe is in total chaos. The Middle East is exploding. Iran is emboldened. China is on the march. And the worst, most incompetent, most corrupt president in history is going to drag us into World War III. Other than that, he's doing quite a good job, don't you think? Quite good. Joe Biden is humiliating our country on the world stage. He's actually humiliating us. You saw what happened this weekend. It's turning the United States into a total joke all over the world. First, he wandered off the G7 in Europe, the stage. It looked like he didn't know where the hell he was, but he didn't know where he was. He's blaming it now on AI. He's saying he doesn't know what AI is, but that's okay. Now they're saying the media is manipulating. Oh, he's saying the media is manipulating. Now, on that one, I have to stick up for the media. I have to tell you. He said the media is manipulating the pictures of him constantly not knowing where the hell he is. They're doing just the opposite. They're making him look better. At the G7 in Europe, and he had to be rescued by other world leaders. They had to pull him back. Then he bizarrely put his face on the Pope's forehead. What was that all about? That was weird. Vivek is here. That was weird, Vivek. I don't know. Did you see the Pope? The Pope is like, what's happening? The Pope didn't really know what was happening. He said, this is strange. Then he froze during the celebration on the White House lawn. Then Barack Hussein Obama had to grab his hand and lead him off the stage as though he were a child. I have to tell you, Obama could have handled that differently. He could have done it a little bit softer. He could have done it like, let's go. Come. He didn't have to grab him and pull him off the stage, but But he looked good, and I guess that was his primary purpose. He wanted to look good. He could have done a better job. In fact, the Biden people were very upset about that whole incident, but yet to be discussed. But Crooked Joe and his handlers are insisting he's sharper than ever, and they say the videos of Crooked Joe shuffling around are clean fakes. You know what a clean fake is? They're deceptively edited. They say they're deceptively edited. All of the mistakes that he's made every day. He can't go anywhere without a mistake. Now, if I'm perfect, they say he made a mistake. He did perfect. And I don't say clean fakes, although they do. They do that. They do that. They're the fake news. Look how many you have out there. They're all over the place. But with me, they take a good speech and they make it look as bad as possible. With him, they take the worst speech you've ever heard and they try and make him look like semi-normal. These are shameless liars who are trying to deceive you about other people, the people that represent Biden. They're shameless liars. They're the Russia people, the laptop from hell people, the 51 intelligence agent people. They're the people that said, all sorts of lies about military, about our great military. They make up stories about our military. It's disgraceful what they can do, and they're so destructive to our country. They're the people that really destroy everything that they touch. That's why this November the people of Wisconsin are going to tell crooked Joe Biden, remember, The Apprentice, you're fired. Get out. You've done a horrible job. You've done a horrible, horrible job. Worst president in history. Get out. You're fired. Get out. We can't get him out fast enough. I'm worried about the next 5 months. We could end up in World War III with this person. He's the worst president ever. The Biden administration has been nonstop catastrophe. He has been a catastrophe. It's been a nonstop catastrophe, but one of Crooked Joe's most destructive moves yet is the lawless executive action he is taking today. You've been reading in the middle of the largest border invasion in world history. There's never been a border in the world that's like this border that we have, where probably 17, 18 million people by now have entered our country illegally. Joe Biden's granting mass, he's going to formally grant a mass amnesty to millions of illegal aliens that came into our country. And you have people that have been working for 10 years to try and come in legally, and they just keep working. Under this program, a deluge of illegals will be given immediate green cards and put on the fast track to rapid citizenship so they can vote. I think a lot of them are going to vote for me. You want to know the truth? Because if you look at the Hispanic population, if you look at the black population, they're voting for Trump. They're voting for Trump. You, look at you. Thank you. I like that person right there. But they give them they give them welfare, they give them free health care, food stamps. Chain migration, one of the catastrophic things, one of the many catastrophic things that we're confronted with when they come in. Crooked Joe is sending a message to the world that he rewards illegal entry, and that's what's happening. They hear about all of the things that are coming in, and don't kid yourself, the ones that are hurt the most, the black population, the Hispanic population, and you know what else? Who else is hurt badly? Unions, because unions are not able to compete with this. This is a mass entry into our country, and the unions are getting absolutely killed by it. All an illegal alien has to do is sign up for his new program. It's a sham marriage or college degree. Think of this. And they can expect amnesty and taxpayer support. They want to get taxpayer support. We are supporting people that come in illegally, but our soldiers, our veterans, are dying on the streets of these horribly run Democrat cities. Our country is under invasion. We should not be talking amnesty. We should be talking about stopping the invasion instead. This is an invasion of our country. We have to seal the border. We have to let people come into our country, but they have to come in legally. We have to send Joe Biden's illegal aliens back home where they belong. We have no choice. We have no choice. Don't forget, all over the world, the prisons, the jails, the mental institutions, the insane asylums, they're all being emptied out. And I don't blame them. I know the leaders. I know so many of the leaders. I had to deal with them. I dealt with them very nicely. I said, you don't behave, we're not going to give you any of the money. We pay them so much money and they do nothing. Get stolen all over the place. But I had a lot of things. We wanted to bring them back. They wouldn't let them come back. I was told that for years Obama couldn't get anybody out. We suffered with MS-13 by the thousands and thousands that killed people, that cut up. 2 young girls cut up in Long Island, cut up to pieces and died by MS-13 monsters, and we couldn't get them out of our country. And I came back and I said, why? They said they won't take them back. Honduras, you take a look at Honduras, and any one of the Mexico to a certain extent, Mexico a little bit less, but we have countries all over South America, countries all over the world that wouldn't take them back. But in the case of the 4 countries, I said, here's what we do. El Salvador is an example, very tough, smart, good leader, But I would have been more advanced than him. I would have had the jails completely empty instead of almost empty. You know, if you take a look at Venezuela, you see what's happening there. 72% down in crime because they've taken their gangs, their drug dealers, also their prisoners. And where have they brought them? To the United States of America. Thank you very much. No. Who can believe that they allow this to happen to our country? Now, who can believe that they would do this to our country? Now, Joe Biden doesn't have a clue. Now, we're going to watch. Is anybody going to watch the debate? He's going to be so pumped up. He's going to be pumped up. You know all that stuff that was missing about a month ago from the White House? What happened? Who left it? Somebody left it there. I wonder, let's see, somebody left a laptop in an office of a gentleman who was supposed to fix the laptop from hell. He never picked it up, and somebody didn't pick up hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cocaine. I wonder who that could have been. I don't know. Actually, I think it was Joe. But Crooked Joe's action today is an illegal, unconstitutional amnesty without approval from Congress, no approval from the courts or the American people, but he never does that. He did that with the tuition, and that didn't work out too well. He got rebuked, and then he did it again. It's going to get rebuked again, even more so. It's an even more vile attack. But he did that with tuition just to get the publicity for the election. He doesn't care about that. He just wants to see if he can get it by the election. Like with all my stuff, they get these people from all over, go after Trump. They never did this before. This is like third world country stuff. Go after Trump. But he did nothing wrong. That doesn't matter. Just go after him. Go after him. And we don't care what happens after the election. Just do it. Mess it up. No country has ever done this outside of a few third world horrible banana republics. Very rarely done. This Biden amnesty is a direct attack on American democracy, and yet another example is how Biden and his communists are demolishing our constitutional system and replacing it with a corrupt and fascist regime. These are fascists. These are bad people. And I don't think he's calling the shots. I'll be honest. I think he's not. I'm talking to you like a small little gathering of, 20,000 people. But I don't think he's calling the shots. I really don't. I almost sound when I talk about, Alphonse Capone was indicted less than Trump. I never heard the word indictment, and then all of a sudden that's coming from all different angles at me, all caused by Biden and his thugs. But it's not going to happen. It's interesting because we're doing better now than we've ever done because people know it's a scam. It's a big scam. And the Biden betrayal is not going to stand. When I'm reelected, Joe Biden's illegal amnesty plan will be ripped up and thrown out on the very first day that we're back in office. Because he's just using that group. But he's going to let everybody come in because you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to sign these people up and register them. They're not citizens. They're not allowed to do it. It's illegal as hell. We're filing court cases all over the place, including here, but we're filing court. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to use all of these people that are pouring into our country to vote. What other reason? Look, it's either they're stupid, they're not stupid. He is, but they're not stupid. The people that surround him, his leaders, his leaders aren't stupid. You can't cheat that well at an election and be stupid, okay? But, so you say they're either stupid or they hate our country, or the third thing is they want to sign people up to vote. And that's what they're doing right now. They're signing people up to vote. The people don't even know where they are. And they're getting them cards to vote. They're trying to register them to vote. And we're in courts all over the place, and we're going to get it stopped, and we're not going to let what they did 4 years ago happen again. Our country is being destroyed. Joe Biden wants to be the president for illegal aliens, but I will be the president for law-abiding Americans, every background, every walk of life, every race, religion, color, and creed. I'll be the president. Thank you very much. Crooked Joe's mass amnesty comes in the wake of a series of horrific murders by, I call them the Biden illegals. They come in here so illegally. They just walk across, not vetted, not checked. All over the world they're coming from. The Congo and Africa, 22 people coming out of jails recently. And where are you from? The Congo. Where did you live? In a jail. What did you do? We don't want to say. But they come from Africa, from Asia. They come from the Middle East. They come from South America, but they come from all over the world. And they're really very, in many cases, very, very bad people. The only good thing is they make our gang members look like nice people by comparison. You know the good thing about Biden's administration, right? He makes Jimmy Carter look like a genius by comparison. Jimmy Carter's administration looked brilliant by comparison. In all fairness, he wasn't doing things like this. He wasn't allowing 17, 18 million people to walk into our country unchecked, unvetted. We have no idea who the hell they are. Day after day, week after week, more Americans are raped, kidnapped, and brutally killed at the hands of criminals. And Joe Biden released them into our country. He released them all. We had, by the way, 4 years ago, I wish they could put it up on the screen, we had the strongest border in the history of our country. Now we have the weakest border in the history of the world. In the history of the world. Oh, there it is. Take a look. That cost a little money to bring that sucker up here. You know, that's... But take a look at that. You see the red arrow on the bottom? That was the week I left office. What a sad day that was for the country. But that was the week I left office. See the red arrow on the bottom? That's the only one you have to even look at. That was the last week in office for Trump. Look at the number. That was the lowest number in the history of our country of illegals coming in. But you can also add drugs and other things, okay? But look at that number. And that was done by Border Patrol. Look at that number. And then look what happens as soon as I leave. Look at the numbers on the right. That's the largest influx of people ever to come to any country. There's never been anything like this. And we don't know where they come from, who they are. We don't have any records. There's no way to check it. You know, they come from some country that nobody ever heard of. They don't keep records, and we don't get their records, and we don't know what we're taking in. But you know one thing. You remember the snake. It's not going to be good, right? It's not going to be good. When you let in a snake, when you let in people that come out of prisons for murder, it's not going to end well. We're going to have a lot of problems, and we're going to get them out. We're going to get them out as fast as we can. We're going to have the largest deportation. We have no choice. Just last week, another Biden migrant was arrested for the savage murder of an innocent American woman. You probably all read about it. In Maryland, Rachel Morin, 37 years old, mother of 5, beautiful woman, nice woman, everybody loved her. Police believe that this animal was responsible for Rachel's killing, first murdered another young woman in El Salvador, came from El Salvador, murdered a woman, at least one, then fled across this Joe Biden open border. Just come on in, everybody. We won't even check your name. And came into the United States, after which he savagely attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother in a home invasion in Los Angeles in an area that was supposed to be safe. And finally, he's charged with raping and murdering Rachel when she was out for a run. She was running, wanted to keep herself in shape before dumping her body into a drainage ditch. That's how they found her, into a drainage ditch. This monster should never have been allowed into our country. And if I was president, he would never have been able to come in. He would have never been able to come in. You see those numbers. Thank you very much. Just like the killer, and you've read about this too, Laken Riley, beautiful Laken Riley, would have never been in our country. Laken was the topper of her class. She wanted to be a nurse. She was the top student, the top everything. She was admired by everybody that knew her. And she was murdered by the same kind of a person that came in here under Biden's there is no policy. They just come in. They just came in. And, you know, I listened to Tom Homan the other day. Tom Homan's great, real real pro. He said there's never been an administration so good on the border and so good generally, but he's a border guy. He's a pure, powerful border guy. He said there's never been an administration like Trump. It's the greatest border, the safest border we've ever had. All these murders that are taking place and all the murders that will take place, you're just seeing the beginning. They're just getting comfortable, you know? They're here for a little while. They're not going to start up. They want to find out. They're just getting comfortable. Now they're having fistfights with cops in the middle of the street. Think of that. In the middle of New York City, they have a guy fist fighting with a cop. I've seen cops shot. I've seen a lot of things. But a fist fight, that's really like crazy. And they're duking it out in the middle of a street. And if that happened to him in his country, they would have had him killed immediately. He would have been killed immediately. But here we're very nice. We're politically correct. Also recently in New York, an illegal alien with mutual and multiple prior arrests approached two 13-year-old children with a machete in broad daylight, forced them into the woods, tied them together by the wrist, and raped the girl at a park in Queens. I grew up in Queens. When I'm reelected, we will begin removing these criminals, these horrible people from our midst, and we'll end up doing it immediately. We're going to do it immediately. We don't really, it's not like we have a choice, right? Do we have a choice? We're not going to live like this. You know, that area in Queens, I said, that's where I grew up. I grew up right near that area. It was unthinkable. My parents, I'd go to the park. It was like 20 blocks away. I'd take a bicycle right there. Nobody thought anything was going to happen. I did that for years. Played baseball and different things in the park. And you'd ride and you'd come back home. Mother would say, hi, darling, would you like something to eat? Today, if you let your kid out of the house for 5 minutes, the kid is gone. You never see it's horrible what's going on. We're not living the proper life. This is not appropriate what's happening. Our country is so badly run. And by the way, you know, Kenosha, I saved Kenosha. Do you know that? When I was president, right? Right? I saved it. Kenosha was about ready to go down the tubes, and the governor wouldn't move. He just wouldn't move, and I moved. I'm not supposed to. It's supposed to be the governor supposed to do it, the mayor and the governor. But we did a great job, and we saved a lot of different places, and some here. We saved a lot of places. Joe Biden's amnesty is also a cold-blooded betrayal of American seniors. By the way, did you see Nancy Pelosi? Her daughter did a documentary, Crazy Nancy. No, this happened just a couple of days. They found the documentary. Her daughter, who's a, quote, documentary maker, has a documentary where Nancy Pelosi is saying it's my fault, meaning her fault, not my fault, her fault, that she takes full responsibility for what's happening. That's as the event is happening. You know why? Because she was being honest for the first couple of hours, and I offered them 10,000 soldiers because I knew the crowd was going to be big. But I offered them 10,000 soldiers, and she turned it down. She said, oh, I don't like the look. She turned it down. And the mayor of Washington, D.C., which we're going to redevelop and make beautiful again, because right now it's a crime-ridden capital. But they turned it down. They turned down the stuff. And now the J6 committee, I call it the unselect committee. They're unselect. They're the most unselect. We should have people like you. We should have put Vivek on the committee, right? And our congressman on the committee, right? But the unselect committee of political thugs, the evidence was so bad and so compelling against the Democrats and against the people that are supposed to be doing that job that they destroyed and deleted all of the everything is deleted. Remember, they said I attacked Secret Service agents while I was in the back of a car. And I have friends that say, don't change that story. Man, you sound tough as hell. That's good. You know, these guys are like 30 years old. One is a weightlifter. The other one's a karate top guy or something. I went for the one who was rebuffed, but my hands wrapped around the other one's neck. I would have been in trouble if I did that, I think. But what happened is when Secret Service went in, they totally told the proper story, which was nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. Then she supposedly changed her, so something went on there. But that's just one of many things. The Pelosi thing is something that is totally on the record, and they've deleted and destroyed all of the records. And they are really disgraceful people. Remember, I said peacefully and patriotically, right? Peacefully. They didn't have that in my speech. They put my speech up, but they took phrases out like peacefully and patriotically. And these are very dishonest people. You know, I say we have problems from the outside and problems from within, and I really believe that you have a smart president. I had no problem with China. I had no problem with Russia. I stopped Russia. Russia would have never gone into Ukraine. I stopped their pipeline going into Germany, which Biden immediately approved. The first week that he was there, he approved it. And Putin actually said, you know, they say that you and I are friends. I'd hate to see you as an enemy. You stopped my pipeline. It was stopped. Going to Germany, going all over Europe, and Biden immediately approved it. But he killed our pipeline, the Keystone. He stopped our pipeline, the Keystone XL, 48,000 jobs. He stopped our pipeline. Biden and his party are hell-bent on legalizing every single Biden migrant who has violated our borders, dumping millions of people onto Medicare and Social Security and even Obamacare. By the way, all of these people going onto Social Security, Medicare, Obamacare, whatever you want to call it, it's going to destroy all of them. It's not going to be able, it's not sustainable. They're going to ruin your Social Security. This guy's killing your Social Security. Biden and the Democrats are wheeling Granny off the cliff to give benefits to illegal aliens. They're giving the benefits to the illegals. And you know, a stat that came out the other day is that almost all of the new jobs in this country are going to illegals. They're not going to our people. They're going to illegals. And that's why the black population, Hispanic population, is voting for me at levels that nobody's ever seen before in this country. Because they're not getting the jobs. In fact, they're losing their jobs. As president, I will fight for American seniors like nobody has ever fought before, and we will not be fighting for the Biden illegals, as I call them. I will fight for American workers, not for human traffickers. I will fight for the American dreamers, not the child smugglers and woman smugglers. And I will restore the sovereign borders of the United States of America. So help me God. Thank you very much. Thank you. You know, they actually have the best location. People think it's, no, people think it's them, but it's not, because nobody sees you on camera. They're on camera for an hour and a half, depending on. And in numerous cases, perhaps they become Hollywood stars. You know, they have. They'll say, who's that person with great star appeal behind Trump? Say, let's see. Got a few of them. You never know. Hey, you never know. What is a star, after all? What is a star? I will also take immediate action to save our economy. Our economy is doing terribly. Inflation has killed our economy. It's a nation buster. On the last day in office, inflation was at less than 1.4%, and as you know, it's now 10. Hey, look, if you take a look at our inflation, our real inflation, they said it was 10 for the last couple of years cumulatively. You take a look at inflation, and if you add different categories, which they don't, I think our inflation is between 40 and 50%. They say it's a 22%. 22% is a lot. That's record-setting. But I think you could double it. Let them add the cost of interest. Let them add the cost of trying to buy a house. Nobody can buy a house anymore. The American dream is dead. The money they can't get, the interest rates through the roof. During my term, we had gasoline down to $1.87 a gallon. And by the end, the 30-year mortgage rate was 2.7%. Think of that, and now it's 10%, 11%, 12%, and you can't get the money, so it doesn't make any difference. They can tell you what the rate is, but you can't get the money. Joe Biden inherited the fastest and strongest economic recovery in history. I gave him the greatest economic recovery in history. It's called bounce back. We were all set. We were set. I hate it. We had the greatest economy ever in the history of the world. COVID came in, and we did an unbelievable job. And by the time we ended, we gave him the greatest bounce back that anybody's ever had. And guess what? He blew it to shreds. And that's where we are right now. Biden's inflation, price hikes, and energy destruction, of course, the average American family, an astonishing $28,000. Think of that, $28,000. And on day one of my new administration, we will throw out Bidenomics and replace it with Maganomics. Maganomics. And it was just announced, you probably heard it, just came as I'm walking up, I say, let me say that. I'm walking up here. It was just announced that the budget deficit is now expected to be almost $2 trillion in 2024. Think of it, $2 trillion. Let's see, 2024, that might not be so good because I take over. They're going to say I have a $2 trillion deficit. I say I didn't do anything. But we'll get it down. $400 billion more than estimated just a few months ago because he's throwing money out the window on the Green New scam and other things because this student loan program, which it's not even legal. I mean, it's not even legal. And the students aren't buying it, by the way. His polls are down. I'm leading in young people by numbers that nobody's ever seen before. And remember, with Trump, no tax on tips. So for all of you people, a couple of people that get tips, right? Tips? No tax on tips. That's right. No, I think it's good. You know, you work, and they come out and they harass you. They really harass you. A lot of people have told me that. He's just passed new regulations that make it very, very hard on people that earn tips really for a living. For the most part, they live on tips. I will stop Biden's wasteful spending and rapidly terminate the Green New scam, which is a total scam. We're spending money like drunken sailors. You know the expression, drunken sailors? They love that expression. I will end the Biden inflation nightmare, and we will end it quickly. And I will repeal crooked Joe Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate, and we will drill, baby, drill. We will drill, baby, drill. Right? Thank you. Thank you. Energy costs will come down very quickly. In many cases, we'll be cutting your energy costs in half, and we're going to be doing it very fast. I will also stop inflation by stopping the invasion, rapidly reducing housing costs. You know, they're taking over our hotels. Think of it. You have people that come in illegally that don't speak the language. We don't even know the country. These are countries where we have nobody in our country that even understands the language. And they're living in luxury hotels in many cases. And as I said, as our wonderful warriors they're wounded. In many cases, they are literally wounded. They're wounded from what's taken place, from the trauma, but they're wounded. And they're laying in the streets of San Francisco and Los Angeles and New York and Chicago and Oakland and all over the place. And you have other people living in luxury hotels. You tell me, is this country screwed up or what? Is this country... We will cut every unnecessary Biden regulation. You know, I cut regulations more than any president in history. That's how we got all the jobs. And I cut your taxes, the biggest tax cut in the history of our country. And we will make the Trump tax cuts permanent and reduce taxes even more for working families and small businesses. They want to let the Trump tax cuts expire. If you do that, you will pay 4 times the amount of tax that you're paying right now. Somehow, you know, all my life I've watched politicians, and they've always said, I'm going to reduce your taxes. This is the only group I've ever seen. We're going to raise your taxes by 4 times. Oh, let's vote for them. There's something crazy going on. There's something crazy in the water. But, you know, I produce the cleanest water and the cleanest air. That's what I want. I want clean water, clean, crystal clean air. Unlike me, Joe Biden isn't fighting for the working people. He's fighting for all of the corrupt interests that get rich off the suffering of the middle class. And he's fighting for China. And he's fighting for lots of other countries. He puts America last. Crooked Joe backed NAFTA, China's entry into the World Trade Organization, and the horrible Trans-Pacific Partnership, and also the ripoff called the Paris Climate Accord. Sounds so nice. Except we were paying the whole brunt of it. China wasn't paying, Russia wasn't paying, India wasn't paying. We were paying $1 trillion for the Paris Climate Accord. Sounds so nice. I said, you know, when I terminate this deal, I'm going to get killed on this one. I terminated it. Everybody thanked me. It was like, because they all know the people are really smart. They get it. They get it. What we are doing for other countries, and we're destroying ourselves, and we owe $35 trillion. You know, it's not like, gee, we have nothing but cash. He sent our blood and treasure to back regime change in Iraq, regime change in Libya, regime change in Syria, and every other globalist disaster for half a century. It's been going on the same. I took our soldiers out. You know, I'm the only president that didn't start a war. I'm the only president. I finished the war. I finished it. I finished the war with ISIS, the ISIS caliphate. I finished it. But I didn't start a war. I got our soldiers out of Syria. I read this morning that, oh, gee, it was a shame. We had 5,000 soldiers on the border, Syria and Turkey, right on the border. So you have Syria, Turkey, and in the middle we have 5,000. In between, a 250,000 person army and 150,000. I went to a general. I say, how do our 5,000 soldiers do in that case? You got two warring nations. And they say, not good, sir. I say, I think it's time to get them out, right? I got them out. Then we had 54 soldiers. And I say, this one I don't have to ask a general. Get them the hell out of there. You know what? Essentially, nothing happened. They've had that border for 2,000 years, different names. But they've had that border for 2,000 years. They've been fighting for 2,000 years. Why do we have soldiers here? I took them out. And we didn't have people killed. We had nobody killed. And they still fight over the border a little bit, but not much. It's, you know, they fight for a little while, then they stop. This goes on for thousands. This goes on for thousands of years. No, you know, we are now, we call ourselves, because, you know, I'm conservative. What difference? I'm the party of common sense. We're the party of common sense. It's not a conservative thing. It's not a liberal thing or a Democrat or Republican thing. After years of Crooked Joe building up foreign nations under my leadership, we will once again build up our nation, if that's okay. Let's build up our nation. I think it's time, right? This looks like a good soldier there. I will revoke China's most favored nation's trade status. They have a most favored nation. They're favored. I said, why do you have that presidency? Well, we are a developing nation. You got nothing but cash. You're killing us. We paid them $500 billion a year. They built their military because of stupid people. And one thing, you know, somebody said it, you don't even think about it. I read it 2 nights ago. Donald Trump was the one that brought up China and the tremendous threat that China is and the amount of money that China takes out of our country every year. You never heard that until I came along. And, you know, it's one thing to talk about it, but I did talk about it. But I was doing something. We took out hundreds of billions of dollars out of China. Not one president took out 10 cents. In fact, Biden wants to revoke the tariffs, but he can't because it's so much money. He can't do it. He just can't do it. I also will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. That's if China or any other country makes us pay 100 or 200% tariff or tax, we will make them pay a reciprocal tariff or tax of 100 or 200% right back. We don't do that. We have countries, and it's not only China, it's many countries. We have countries that charge us tremendous taxes and tariffs, and we don't charge them anything. And I was changing that and got a lot of it changed with South Korea, with Japan, made a new deal with Japan. Oh, Japan was really, you know, Prime Minister Abe, he was great, of Japan. He was assassinated. He was a great friend of mine. He was a great gentleman. He loved his people. He loved his country. I went to him. I said, you know, the trade deal between Japan and the United States is the most unfair thing I think I've ever seen. They sell cars to us. We can't sell cars to them. They sell food to us. We can't sell food to them. And it's that way with the European Union, too. And I said to Abiy, I love that guy. He was great. He was going to run again. He was getting well, and he was going to run again. Very popular guy. He would have won easily. But I said, we can't do this. He said, I was waiting for you to ask. He said, nobody's ever asked. Nobody from your country has ever asked, you know? He said, I'm shocked it took you so long. And I renegotiated it. I mean, I liked him so much. I could have made probably a tougher deal, but we made a tough deal. I liked him. He was a great guy, and we renegotiated that deal. We renegotiated a lot of deals. One of the best deals I made was with China, but because of COVID, I don't even talk about that deal. China had to buy $50 billion worth of our product, our agricultural product mostly. And, you know, it was interesting during the negotiation. I said, what are we asking for? $15 million, 15. So I thought they meant 50, right? I heard it as 50. So when they came to me, they said, we have the deal done with China. It's $15 million. I said, what do you mean 15? It's 50, you told me. They said, no, it's 15. I said, go back and ask for 50. And we got it. Can you believe it? We got it. I thought they said 50. But the Reciprocal Trade Act is basically a terrible expression, but it's, you know, as accurate as I can make it. You know, I have a man I have a lot of respect for. He said, please, you speak so beautifully. Don't hurt your speech by using foul language. But sometimes foul language is a little bit necessary. More necessary here than on television, I have to say. On television, it doesn't sound good. Although it sounds okay, actually, but it doesn't sound good. Here, you don't make your point. But I don't think this is too bad, because reciprocal trade, that's you screw us, we screw you. And then what happens, you charge us 100%, we charge you. I don't know how else I can say it so briefly, right? That's about as good as we can do. There's just no word that can cover that. So, and you know who that was? Does anybody know? You know who that was that told me? A great man, actually. Franklin Graham, you're right. It was Franklin Graham. He wrote me a beautiful letter, and he said, your speech was so good, and I loved it and everything else, but you don't have to use foul language. And I very rarely do. And it's not really, it's just, you know, like little words, like that word that starts with a B and ends with a T, right? It's just such a descriptive word. I don't know how you replace some of these words. But I think of him when I'm about to do, and usually last speech I said I'm going to behave, and I did. I totally behaved. This one I did use those two words, the same word twice. Biden would say I used 3 words 4 times. You know, remember that? He'd have 4 words, and he'd say in the famous words those 2 words, and then he'd issue 4 words. This guy. This is what we have negotiating. This is what we have negotiating with Putin, with President Xi of China, with Kim Jong-un, who's loaded up with nuclear weapons. This is what we have negotiating. You know, when France came out and wanted to tax our nation, I told them you can't do it, and if you do it, you're going to pay 100% tax on all of your wine and all of your champagne that you send in. And all my people said you couldn't do it, you'll never be able to change it. They're going to tax our companies 25%. And I said, we're going to do it. And I did that, and it was a miracle. They said, Macron, you know Macron, good man. He loves France. He doesn't love us. He loves France, right? And I said, no. You have to pay. We're going to charge you 100% unless that disappears. Everybody told me it couldn't be done. My own people told me it couldn't be done. And I said, nope, 100% starting on Monday. This was Friday. And he called me back 5 minutes later. He said, we would be delighted to drop that tax. We would be delighted to drop that 25% tax on your companies, Vivek. But if I gave it to Vivek to do, I think he'd pull it off, right? You know. He'd pull it off. It's no wonder Joe Biden and his thugs are so desperate to stop us. They know that we are the only ones who can stop them, and they know that. All of their persecutions and prosecutions is happening because I'm running for president and leading very big in the polls, including in this great state. Now, do you remember in 2016 we won? And then we did much better here in 2020, but lots of things happened. And then in the end, we won. But by that time, it was a little late. But in 2016, we won. And I got a poll from ABC, Washington Post, Washington Post is down 50% in readers, which is a good thing because people don't like fake news. And ABC, they have George Stopalopoulos. I call him Slopadopoulos. George Stopalopoulos. I said, George, I've had you up to here. You got to start telling the truth. You got to start telling the truth. They're doing one of the debates, I understand. See, I agreed to this stuff. I agreed to the debates. They came up to me, and they said, we're going to do a debate. We'd like to challenge you to a debate. But they didn't want me to accept, so they gave me something that I couldn't accept. CNN, fake tapper, right? Fake tapper. Sit down at tables, no audience. I don't know, this thing sounds pretty unacceptable. No audience. I said, well, I think we should at least stand up. Don't you think it would be respectful? But I said, we'll do it. They didn't think I was going to do it. They thought I would say, no, I don't want to do it because CNN is so, it's fake news. But I think maybe they'll be honest. I think fake tapper would really help himself if we're honest. But you'll see immediately if it is or not. I'll probably be, Dana Bash is the other. I'll probably be negotiating with 3 people, but that's okay. I've done that before. I'll be debating 3 people instead of one half of a person. The outrageous charges in New York were a corrupt creation of crooked Joe Biden and his group. And they really weaponized, what they did is they weaponized the Department of Justice. They weaponized all the White House. What they did is disgraceful. It was all planned and carried out by his thugs in Washington, giving orders to New York. All these people went to Washington. It was all one big thing, including civil cases, by the way. The case was completely devoid of facts, merit, or even any crimes. Every legal analyst, all great people, I don't have to go over their names, I go over them all the time. But all of the great legal analysts said there is no case here, there is no crime, he shouldn't charge, etc. But every single one of them said that. This wasn't a legitimate indictment. This was a Joe Biden indictment to try and hurt your political opponent. And it's really reverberated because the numbers we've never had numbers better than this. And they've really gone up a lot since that fake deal was started. But since the rigged trial in New York, and think of this, the poll numbers have increased very substantially, and the fundraising has, I think, set all-time records. I mean, I think it's set all-time. And you know what? If you understand this stuff, if it hadn't, it would have gone the opposite way. If this was real stuff, it would have been the opposite. Most of the time it would be. But I have a nice platform. I was able to explain what it is. It was fake. I also got Dershowitz. You take a look at Dershowitz and Mark Levin, all great people. Andrew McCarthy, Greg Jarrett, all great people. Jonathan Turley, all fantastic. Do you think Biden could remember 5, 6, 7 names? I don't think so. I don't think so. And honestly, many others. And they all came out and they said, this is a terrible thing that's happening to our country, et cetera, et cetera. And people read, and that's when the numbers quadrupled. Everything quadrupled. The poll numbers were great. The fundraising numbers went up at levels that nobody's ever seen before because they know it's all fake stuff. It's a Biden indictment. These aren't indictments. These are Biden indictments. He did it to hurt his political opponent because he's a lowlife who's the dumbest president we've ever had in addition to everything else. The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020, and we're not going to let them rig the presidential election in 2024. And every time, we're not going to let them do it. By the way, if we win Wisconsin, now, Biden, you know what Biden would say? He'd say, if we win Iowa, oh, sir, you're in Wisconsin. Oh. But I have to be careful because when I do that stuff, they'll sometimes put it on like I was saying it. So when I imitate him, because he can't find his way off a stage ever. There's only 4 or 5 stairs on this one. Sometimes I have like 7 stairs. Anything built by the government, we have a lot of stairs because they have unlimited money. But you know what? When I imitate him, and you've heard this a little bit, I say it every once in a while, I said to my wife, how good was that speech? Was that great? It was the greatest. I had 107,000 people show up in New Jersey 3 weeks ago. 25,000 people in the South Bronx. People weren't sure about that one. It was love. That was a love fest, South Bronx. But I called up my wife. I said, how good. Now, I had just imitated him trying to get off a stage. And, you know, there's walls around, and I walk into walls. Kidding. It's sarcasm. It's like, it's truth. I mean, he walks into stages, he falls down. I better not ever fall down because they'll say, he said. We just don't want to fall down. You have to keep yourself from falling down. You just have to be careful. But he'd walk into walls and everything. So I said to my wife, how great was it, New Jersey? 107,000 people. Nobody could have ever in history, nobody could have gotten 107,000 people. There's never been a politician, Vivek. You're just peanuts by comparison, Vivek. You don't know it. He hasn't learned his lesson yet. He has not learned his lesson yet. But he's a good man. He's going to be with us in some form. He hasn't learned. But I said to my wife, Vivek, I said, our great First Lady, she's our great, people like our First Lady. So I said, honey, I'll tell you, it was unbelievable. How good was it? It was unbelievable. The crowd, nobody's ever seen a crowd. That broke every record in New Jersey history. Nobody's ever seen 100, and I don't have a guitar. Don't forget, Elvis had a guitar. I don't have a guitar. I have nothing. I stand up here by myself. Terrible. But all these people, I said, how great? Tell me how great. She said, well, it was okay. I said, what do you mean okay? It was phenomenal. No, but your hair didn't look good. And then she said, the killer of all killers. She said, and what happened? You couldn't find your way off the stage. They showed you walking into walls. So the fake news had me walking into walls when I was just imitating Biden because he walks into walls. I don't know. You got to live with it. You got to live with it. That's why we call them the fake. That's why we call them the fake news. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor. Remember, I got indicted more than Alphonse Capone. Al Capone was the meanest, Scarface. He was the meanest ever, the worst. Oh, he was right down the road, actually, Chicago. He controlled Chicago with an iron fist. If he went out to dinner with a person, didn't like him, they were gone by the next morning, never found again. You know, they're usually a part of the foundation of a building going up, right? I got indicted more than Al Capone, all because I ran for office. If I didn't run for office, I'd be enjoying life. But you know what? I enjoy this better because we're going to make America great again. That's what I like. That's what I like. Very simple. And I'm being indicted for you. Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never, ever let them take away your freedom. That's why I'm here. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me. Quite simply put, I am just standing in their way. I'm standing in their way, and they're not. I'm not moving. I'm not moving. My life could have been so simple. I could have had 200 lawyers less. My life could have been so simple. I would have had a beautiful life, but this is a beautiful life. This is far more beautiful. I mean, what's better? Being with you right now. Look at that beautiful lake. That beautiful lake. Beautiful, right? What's better, this or sitting on the Pacific or the Atlantic, which has sharks? You don't have sharks. See, that's a big advantage. I'll take the one without the sharks. We're pleased to be joined today by many incredible patriots, including the man who is going to help Wisconsin reverse every single Biden disaster year, next U.S. Senator, and this guy is central casting, Eric Hovde. Eric, stand up, Eric. Come on up, Eric. Eric has had an outstanding career in business, a real success, and now he's going to get things done. Eric will vote to crack down on illegal immigration, end Joe Biden's border disaster, support our police, and turn back the wave of violent crime. He will help us rapidly halt Biden inflation, and unleash energy the likes of which you have never seen. But most importantly, Eric will defeat your radical left senator, the worst senator in the U.S. Senate, they say. She's the worst senator. She's rated, I think, the lowest, the worst. Is a bad one. You got a bad one in Ohio, too. I think he's going to be defeated, Brown. But Tammy Baldwin voted for every single inflation-causing Biden spending bill. 100% voted with Biden. And Biden doesn't represent you. $11 trillion worth of votes that have caused massive inflation. She wants to help Biden impose the largest tax hike in American history. For 4 straight years, she's cast a vote. And remember, every single time she voted for crooked Joe Biden, she voted in favor of sanctuary cities. She voted to cancel my emergency declaration on the border to stop people from coming in. Thank you very much, Tammy. I appreciate it. And she opposed a little thing called Remain in Mexico that I did anyway. She opposed it. I did it anyway. And Baldwin supports Joe Biden's effort to undermine our police officers in the middle of the worst crime wave in modern history. She wants to not take care of our police. Tammy Baldwin is a radical left Democrat extremist. She's a horrible, horrible senator. And this gentleman, I mean, is this central casting, this guy? And his wife looks even better than he does. That's pretty good. But he's going to secure our borders and stop inflation. He's going to help me. We're going to win. You know, again, we win Wisconsin and we win the whole thing. We win the whole thing. So we got to win. Eric, say hello.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. And we do have a gorgeous state. Look at how beautiful Wisconsin is. Now, the president and I are both business guys. In fact, I'm in the development business. That development project over there I'm developing right now, 220 units, revitalizing Racine. But you know, in the world of business, results matter. And in business, you either get it done or you don't get it done. So let's take a quick look. President Trump, inflation averaged about 1.7%. Almost nothing. Joe Biden, 6%, and I agree with President Trump, the prices have gone up more than 20%. Are you kidding me? They're fudging the numbers. How about your incomes? Do you know your incomes grew under President Trump at a faster rate than any time in American history? 7.7%. Under Joe Biden, sadly, your wages have declined by 2.9%. We've never had that in 3 years. They're crushing the middle class. They're crushing the working class. And how about the border? President Trump showed you the numbers. The numbers are clear. He had the border completely under control. Joe Biden, first year, over 3 million. Second year, over 3 million. Third year, they don't even know. I mean, we may have 16 million illegal immigrants. Our streets are being flooded with fentanyl. And by the way, Mr. President, I know you're going to take care of this. They can't account for 100,000 children. And sadly, too many of those kids have probably ended up in the sex trade. So the results are clear. This president, no wars. Joe Biden, the world's awash in conflict. So the results speak for themselves. And Tammy Baldwin has voted with Joe Biden 95.5% of the time. Now I got to ask you, Mr. President, you have a lovely, gorgeous wife. I got married. I'm lucky with a beautiful wife. We've been great relationship. But I can tell you, I don't agree with her 95.5% of the time, and I sure the heck know she doesn't agree with me 95.5% of the time. So how could Tammy Baldwin agree with Joe Biden 95.5% of the time? She's been a disaster. She's talking about fentanyl. She's done nothing on fentanyl. She has voted for open borders. She has voted for all the debt. Everything she has done wrong. So I'm going to get off the stage now turn it back to President Trump. But President Trump raised the apprentice. And this time around, Mr. President, You and I are going to work hard to take back this country, because this country is going to be saved right here in Wisconsin. And it's all of you and you that are going to fire Joe Biden and Tammy Baldwin. Let's take back America, make America great, and restore the American dream. Thank you.
Beautiful, Jeff. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much, Eric. Great job. Go out and vote. You're getting a dynamo. You need that. That's what you need. You need that in Washington. We're also pleased to be joined by former Governor Scott Walker. Scott, great governor, a great governor. You're coming with us, Scott. You're coming with us. Thank you very much. And a friend of mine for a long time, another great one. This was a great one. I don't know. I've heard he's like the most popular person in your whole state. Although Scott's right there, too. Tommy Thompson. Tommy Thompson. Tommy, thank you. And Tommy, I hear you're heading up the Trump campaign in Wisconsin, right? Right? All right, we're all done with that, Tommy. I like that. Tommy's heading it up. How the hell, I mean, can I do better? I don't think so, right? Thank you, Tommy. We appreciate it very much. Scott, thank you very much. House Republican leader, Steve Scalise. Very brave guy. Steve. Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much. And members of Congress, a real warrior, Derek Van Orden. He cannot take no for an answer. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ed. Thanks, Derek. That's great. Brian Stile took the place of somebody that wasn't nearly as good as him. Doing a much better job than his predecessor. Thank you very much. That's great. And he's working on all sorts of J6 scams and hustles and what's happened. And he's in charge of the committee. And I hear you're doing a fantastic job. And you're going to make sure that we have an honest election in the great state of Wisconsin, right? This area. Thank you very much. Great job. Appreciate it. Another friend of mine, Glenn Grothman. Glenn, thank you very much. And we all know he's here because I heard he made a great speech before, and people really like him. He came sort of, nobody knew him too much. All of a sudden they say, he's a smart guy, and he's a very smart guy. Vivek Ramaswamy. Thank you, Vivek. He's done a great job, actually. Wisconsin GOP Chairman Brian Schemming. Thank you, Brian. Very important guy. We're gonna win it. We're gonna win it. We gotta win it. Thank you, Brian. And the next candidate from Wisconsin's 8th Congressional District, Tony Weed. Tony, thank you. Great. Oh, another central casting guy. Wow. They have good-looking people in this state, don't they, huh? Wow. That's great. Good. Thank you, Tony, very much. You're going to do great. From the very first day that we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden, I believe we are going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we win, it's about us. After we win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. I get along with both of them very well. Should have never happened. All those people dead, all those cities destroyed. You can never rebuild them. Never rebuild them like they were. Beautiful 1,000-year-old buildings with the gold domes. You can never rebuild that, but what a shame. And one thing I'll do that nobody else can say, they can not even talk. I know all the players. I will prevent a thing called World War III. And you are closer to it. You are closer to it than you have any idea. Biden's weakness has put us in grave danger. I will restore peace through strength. You know, again, Russia didn't take any land while Trump was president, but they did take land under Bush. They did take land under Obama. Looks like they're taking the whole country from Biden with all the money that we spend. You could have settled that deal over a couple of phone calls, frankly, and you wouldn't have anybody dead, and you'd have the country would be intact. It would be intact, but he couldn't do that. And the way he talked, I used to say, boy, he's saying the exact opposite thing that you have to say to get that thing ended. What a horrible, horrible president he's been. In my next term, we will build a great iron dome over our country, a dome like has never seen before, a state-of-the-art missile defense shield that will be entirely built in America, and we will create, on top of everything else, jobs, jobs, jobs. And we need protection, too. We're going to build the greatest dome of them all. You see what happened in Israel. They shot 3,000 missiles, and they knocked down almost all of them. And we're entitled to that also, you know, and it was our idea, by the way. And Ronald Reagan wanted to do it many years ago, but unfortunately then it sounded like Star Wars. He was ahead of his time, actually. But we didn't have the technology that you have now. Now we have the greatest technology there is. And we're going to build a dome, a safety shield over the top of us so that if we see something coming in 5 years from now, I'll be talking a little bit differently, maybe. We'll see something coming. I say, don't worry, the dome's going to take care of it. The dome, don't worry about it. The dome will take care of it. But we should have that. You know, we should be entitled to that, don't you think, with all the hostility out there? I think so. All made in the USA, including right here. To further secure America's future and create opportunity for young people, I will end Joe Biden's war on crypto. We will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in America. Otherwise, other countries are going to have it. The other countries are going to have it. We're going to rebuild our cities, become beacons of hope, safety, and beauty, better than they have ever been before. Right now, they're death and squalor, and they're falling apart. We're going to rebuild our cities. We will take over the horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C., and clean up, renovate, and rebuild our capital city so that it no longer is a nightmare of murder and crime. People go there from Wisconsin. I want to see the Washington Monument, and they end up getting shot. They end up getting killed. It's a horrible thing taking place in the Capitol. We're going to take it over. It's going to be run properly. It's going to be beautified. It's going to be cleaned. I went there the other day for one of these trials, you know, these trials that keep me busy so much. You know, I'm only allowed to campaign about 20% of the time because I have all these Biden trials. But so far, it's not working. We can never let that work. We can't let them get away with it. But I went there, and the roads were so badly damaged. There were potholes all over the place. There was trash all over the main highways, trash, garbage. You're driving over garbage. The medians in the middle, you know, the metal medians were all broken and rusted and disgusting. That's no way to have a capital. Can you imagine these foreign leaders come in, and generally their capitals are in good shape, you know? That's why they're dictators. They say that we don't want broken medias. We don't want potholes in our roads. We want to have them nice. I went to China. You never saw anything like that. A road 10 cars wide times 2. Medians that were impeccable. They're probably 100 years old. They were made out of steel. They were painted. They were impeccable. All this stuff. We got to have the same thing. We got to have it. We have to have it done properly. Our nation's capital is the murder capital of the world. Our nation's capital is falling apart. Graffiti all over the beautiful marbles and granites. Graffiti all over the place. We're going to clean up our capital. We're going to be proud of our capital. We're going to take care of our capital. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding of any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children. And I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. And I will keep, who even thinks you have to say this stuff, you know, like open borders. Who wants an open border? Nobody wants to know. Who has open borders? But some of these things, it's embarrassing to say. I will keep men out of women's sports. It's embarrassing. Why would you have to say that? You know, you go back 10, 15 years ago, somebody would say, did he just say he was going to keep, what's that all about? The women are being, it's so disrespectful for women. The other day, a woman playing volleyball got hit by a ball, hit by somebody who transitioned, a large person, very large, and the ball came at her at a level that at a speed at which she's never seen before. It hit her, and it had bad impact. Bad things happened, bad things. And this happened before. The swimming is ridiculous. The weightlifting is probably the most ridiculous. Weightlifting records that stood for 18 years are being obliterated by hundreds of pounds, by people that transitioned. I don't think it's, we're going to get rid of that immediately. I will fully uphold the Second Amendment. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech. And I will secure our elections with a goal to have one-day voting, paper ballots, proof of citizenship, and voter ID. But until then, Republicans must win. We want a landslide, and the expression I use, where you just can't lose, is we got to make it too big to rig. Too big to rig. Because they're dishonest people. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration of thugs has done. What they've done to our country is incredible. What they've done, and you haven't even seen it yet. You haven't seen the terrorists yet. You haven't seen the killing yet that's starting to take place. Again, it takes them a little time. They want to get accustomed to the country. They're not going to start from day one because they don't know. Then they see our laws, which are so weakened and so pathetic, and they probably can't believe them. But you're going to see things that will be horrible unless you elect me president, in which case we're going to get them the hell out of here. We're going to get them out fast. So if you want to save America, I'm asking everybody to go out to the website, swampthevoteusa.com. Swamp the vote, right? The swamp. This is a different kind of swamp than we usually use. Swamp. We got rid of a lot of the swamp, Comey and all those guys. We got rid of them. Swampthevoteusa.com to make a plan to vote either by mail, early in person, or to vote on Election Day. You have to vote. And watch your vote. Watch your vote. Because they tend to disappear. Watch your vote. Make sure it's counted. And you can do that. Make sure it's counted. You have great people. Again, Tommy is going to be totally involved. And you have two great governors that are going to be involved. And we appreciate it very much. Two great governors. We got to win it. We win it. We win the whole thing. Then we see you guys in Washington. We'll see you in Washington. And if you want to volunteer to help us turn out the voters in your neighborhood, sign up and get trained at TrumpForce47.com. TrumpForce47.com. Go out because we want to watch it. You want to watch for the cheating. I say guard the vote. I say guarding the vote is far more important. We have all the votes we need. We have to guard the vote. We have to stop the steal. If we stop the steal, we win. I don't have to campaign anymore. Just stop the steal. So Scott and Tommy, do a job out there, okay? You'll do it. In conclusion, from Madison to Milwaukee, from La Crosse to Kenosha, I love Kenosha, and from Green Bay to right here in Racine, we inherit the legacy of Wisconsin patriots who braved the incredible dangers to carve out a life in a vast and wild frontier. We stand on the shoulders of the American giants who crossed the oceans, explored the continent, settled the Great Plains, won the Wild West, laid down the railroads, raised up those great, big, beautiful skyscrapers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Conquered the skies, fought 2 world wars and won, and we didn't have to change the name of the forts, by the way. Does anybody know what I mean by that? Fort Bragg is no longer Fort Bragg. We won 2 world wars. So many of the forts are changed. The names of the forts have changed. We won freedom from those forts, and they changed the name. So horrible. Defeated fascism and communism, mastered space flight, created Space Force. That was mine. First time in 78 years. And made America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world. But now we are a nation in serious decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, lost its willpower and lost its strength. We are a nation that has lost, quite simply, its way. But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation. We were a respected nation, respected all over the world by China, by Russia, by everybody. And we will soon be a great nation again. With the right leadership, every disaster Joe Biden has created can be fixed, and it can be fixed quickly. Every problem can be solved, and every wrong can be rectified. By this time next year, America's borders will be strong and sealed and secure. Inflation will be in full retreat. Our economy will be roaring back. Optimism and spirit will be surging. The American dream will be thriving again for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Law and justice will reign all throughout our land. Freedom will be restored. The flame of liberty will be burning bright. Joe Biden, this guy is just the worst. Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country, will be a fading nightmare. He'll be a fading, I have fading memory, but I think, do you mind if I change it? He will be a fading nightmare. He's been a nightmare for this country. He is destroying our country. He's the worst we've ever had. He's destroying our country. And our great silent majority, including the once forgotten men and women of our country, will be the one shaping America's magnificent future when I am the 47th President of the United States of America. Because we are all Americans, and together we will show November 5th to be the most important day in the history of America. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America free again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Wisconsin. Thank you. God bless you, Wisconsin. God bless you, Wisconsin. Thank you. Get out and vote. Get out and vote, everybody. God bless you all.
Okay. I am back. Shout out to everybody watching the live show. You know what time it is. Thank you so much for watching the live show. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. God bless you. 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 I see you, Nia Book Truck. I see you, Andrea. I see you, Omar. I see you, the Rose Rodriguez. The Rose Rodriguez. Too strong for life. Wolves Lear, Noni Baggio, Dylan Arvin, Nota Cult of Personality, uh, Omar Hernan. Okay, everybody watching the live show, God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. We are going to be back, okay? We're going to be back, we're going to be back, we're going to be back. Thank you so much for being here. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. Also, you can support the channel. The Cash App is right there. You don't have to, but if you want to, that would be absolutely great. See you, Amanda. We just got done, but we will be back, of course. So, Amanda, you were late, but it is what it is. I got you. I got you. We're going to be back, okay? We're going to be back. God bless you. Instead of looking for perfection, seek for consistency. Instead of looking for perfection, seek for consistency. Okay? Vote for policies. Don't vote with your feelings and emotions, okay? Also, if you want to get your absentee ballot, go ahead and register for your absentee ballot and make sure that comes in your mail. If you're not around, make sure you vote. You don't have to vote on election day. You can vote before election day, okay? So stop waiting for election day to vote. If you want to vote before election day, you can. Okay, so make sure you get your absentee ballot. Make sure you do what you need to do to cast your vote and to to I guess do or how would I put it now? To exercise your right as a citizen of the United States, which is freedom to vote. Okay, so make sure you vote for your preferred candidate. However, don't vote for feelings and emotions, gender, color, and all that stuff. Instead, vote for performance, vote for policies, vote for results. Okay, it is what it is. God bless you guys. God bless you guys. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. We are out. Okay? God bless you. Smash the like button one more time. Subscribe to the channel. And we will be back. Okay? Thank you. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless your business. God bless everything that pertains to you. Okay? Stay safe. Stay locked in. Never give up. Okay? Love you guys.